Okay, we've got the other tape recorder going. This is Doug Kirk, and we're here with Sandra and Gisela. Is that correct?
Yes.
And it's September 9th, 2015. It's about 10 o'clock at night. Was that what time it was? Is it that late? 10 o'clock?
Yes. Yes.
It's 9:59. So here's what I would like to do. Let's turn our lights off, and let me take that out of your hand so you can concentrate. And Sandra, if you'll just translate, if Gisela can look around and see if she senses any kind of energy or any kind of feeling as to which direction to go.
Okay, weiß ja, wo die Grabsteine sind, aber möchte, ob du irgendwas fühlst, ob du irgendwas
Ja, das sage ich schon dann.
Auf welche Richtung. Er will das erstmal einen Test machen.
Wo das ist.
Laufen oder she can
Soll ich
start
da-
walking?
Solche
Yeah, she can do anything she'd like. I'll be right behind you. Be careful so you don't trip.
Ja, pass auf, Mama, dass du nicht irgendwo in einem Graben dann bist. Oder nicht lange. Ja. Deswegen, jedenfalls, ob du was spürst oder welche Richtung, ich weiß nicht. Wenn ich was merke, if I notice anything, I will let you know too.
Okay,
Oder
let's see what your mother's doing.
spürst du irgendwas?
Watch your step here.
Pass auf.
What'd she say?
As if it was here, around here.
I'm not going to answer that. Just keep looking, keep sensing.
Und du halt was spürst, schaust du bisschen rum, du was spürst.
You got to tell me what you're saying here.
Oh, I'm just saying walk around till you feel something or you notice something. If you do. That's what I'm saying. But she hasn't replied yet.
There's a little bump there, so watch it.
Auf, Mama.
Also wenn ich in dem Haus war, da kam kalte Luft entgegen schon.
And she's not noticing anything. She was saying, like, when she was in that house one time, she noticed a really cold
Right.
something over her. So she's not noticing anything strange. Also spürst nichts.
Hier ist
Well, I have been here before and I noticed something cold.
Oh, yeah?
And people tell me that that's what they feel sometimes.
Ja. Hat es auch schon mal gespürt, wo hier war.
ja, so kalte Luft.
Spürst du
Nee,
irgendwas?
bis jetzt noch nicht.
Okay, nothing
Wo ist-
so far, Doug.
Okay. Be careful.
Pass auf, Mama. Hast du...
Das ist ein alter Grabstein, gell?
Ich weiß es nicht. Du sollst erstmal... ob du was fühlst, Mama. Ob du das richtige Grab findest. She was saying if it's an old stone off of a grave, and I said I don't know. We're just here to feel or
Exactly. We
notice
want to
anything.
sense or feel and
Sense.
not necessarily look.
right.
See, if you know you're looking for something a certain date, then you can
Yeah.
find it. But we're just trying to see if there's any
Irgendwas
sense.
fühlst, das will er erstmal.
Ja, ich weiß.
Fühlst du irgendwas oder ob du was hörst?
ein Grab. Die Arme sind drauf. Ja.
Merkst nix? Are you feeling anything?
Vielleicht. Irgendwo hier muss es sein, oder?
She thinks it's somewhere around
Yeah.
here.
9.
9.
Okay, so we can,
Sorry.
excuse me, we can go back to the front, and then I'll just tell you what I know. I've been over here a lot of times and felt nothing.
War hier auch schon oft und hat nichts gefühlt, Mama.
And there a couple of times I've been over here with other people who felt something very strongly.
Und dann ist er mit jemand anders hergekommen und die haben ein starkes Gefühl, sehr starkes.
Ja, wenn man da auf das Grab ist und spricht mit den Toten, Sandra, hat er schon gesprochen mit denen, wo der am Grab? Ja?
She's asking, like, sometimes if you sit around and speak with them and start a conversation, you might be able to get a conversation back.
That's what we're going to try to do. Yeah.
Das ist, was er versuchen möchte.
Ja.
This cemetery was built in the 1850s, 1860s, 1870s.
Oh, ja.
So 50 rum, 1860 rum ist
And these are all German settlers.
Und das sind alles deutsche Siedler, Mama, Einbürgerer.
Ja?
Alles Deutsche.
Ach, das sind alles Deutsche
Die
hier.
sind fast, ja. Ja, weil der Duck war ja schon oft hier, Mama. I was telling you, you've been here many times.
Yes.
Ja?
Yes, so, ja. Das sind alles Deutsche, Mama.
Okay, so let's
So.
take our stuff.
Danke.
Es kann auch sein, dass wir nichts spüren, Mama. Wir müssen halt sehen.
That's a lot of stuff for one person.
Stark.
I'm missing something.
What?
It's a little blue, it may be in our hands. It's a little blue back to this chair. I don't know where I put it. We may have dropped it. Okay, so let's just go over here. This is falling apart. These are great chairs when they don't fall apart. Okay. Give me a minute and I'll get the chair set up.
Here's your
Tripod.
tripod.
Okay. See that little blue
Yeah,
thing?
here. Was it this one?
Well, there's supposed to be two of them. So we dropped it.
Oh, here, there's one.
Hier ist.
Oh, okay.
There's one.
So good.
Sehr gut.
My German is...
We stopped talking German, we start getting it back.
Well, yeah, my German, I haven't used it in 40 years.
Well, see, and if I start emailing you in German, you probably
Then it'll
start
work.
picking it up.
So here's one chair. That usually pinches my hand, trying to get a level spot. Okay.
Okay.
So there's one.
Setzt du dich dahin, Mama?
Nee, hier ist es.
Nein, setz dich dir auf den Boden. Achso. So, Mama, setz dich auf die, du bist die ältere Dame, setz dich richtig hin.
Und wer liegt jetzt hier alles drauf?
Also, she's asking who is exactly laying here.
In front of us or in this whole place?
No, in front of, like where the mom and the daughter were.
Okay, I'll show you in just a minute.
Zeigt uns gleich.
Let me get you settled.
Weil das ist das 5-jährige Mädchen, Mama. Das ist ja umgekommen auf
Okay,
brutale
here's
Art und
another
Weise.
chair.
Und die kann vielleicht nicht in Ruhe reden, weil sie kann halt nicht.
Weil sie nicht zu der Mutter.
Weil sie umgebracht wurde. Sie war gerade mal 5 Jahre alt.
Also die Mutter ist
ja ein normales Alter gestorben. Bloß wo die.
Ja, ich meine, da mit die Tochter und die Mutter.
Ja, ich weiß, er zeigt uns gleich.
Soll ich halten, das Schwimmen?
You want me to hold the flashlight up?
I'm used to this. Okay, so the reason I brought this is now that can pick up our conversation.
Also das tut dann aufnehmen, unsere Gespräche.
Seems to be hung. There you go. Okay, so now we do this like so. Okay, and this will hold our other recorder. I use 2 because I want a backup in case something fails. Because it happens so often that stuff fails.
Oh, yes.
So we'll put this here. Now, if we're 3 seated there, this ought to pick up everything we need. Okay? This tripod we'll use to take a picture later. Actually, I wonder if I should start. I have a little camera here. It's so dark it'll probably see nothing.
Do you usually get something?
Nope.
See, nothing?
I keep trying though.
Not even back when you started it in 2009?
No, never. 2008. Never saw anything on camera.
Hat noch nie was auf der Kamera gesehen. And you get them developed, right, and everything.
Well, it's all digital.
It's all digital?
Yes.
Well, have you ever thought about getting them on a picture? Have you noticed that sometimes when you get them on a printed photograph that something shows?
I've tried that, and
yes?
I haven't really seen anything.
Oh, okay.
Ich glaube, da müsste der in ein Gruselhaus.
Ja, aber er interessiert sich ja für diese Mama, weil er möchte rausfinden, was mit der Lili passiert ist.
Okay.
Ja, mit dem kleinen Mädchen. Weil die
Okay,
Hellseherin
now,
hatte Freunde
Sandra,
gehabt.
if you will take a seat, and I'll show you what I know. Okay?
Okay.
This started in 2008, in October of 2008, and we were over by those graves right there, filming a documentary, basically.
Ja, die haben einfach nur aufgenommen, zufällig.
And the girl that was modeling for me walked over here by these trees, and she felt a presence.
Okay, und das Mädchen, das mit ihm war, das hat irgendwas gemerkt bei den Bäumen hier.
Den Bäumen.
Ja.
And I filmed that.
Hat es gefilmt.
And the girl modeling for me looked around the grave with the flashlight, and she zeroed in on this grave right here.
Ach, da ist sie.
And she said that this entity wanted her to pay attention to that grave.
Es hat ihr Bescheid gesagt, dass es irgendwas mit diesem Stein zu tun hatte. mit diesem Geist.
Das Mädchen liegt da.
Ja, da liegt sie.
We were not able to read whose grave it was.
Ja, die konnten nicht
you look-
lesen. Ja, das kann man nicht lesen, siehst du? Also jetzt kann man es lesen.
It's very
Ist
difficult to
sowieso
read.
auf Deutsch.
Deutsch.
Ja, and it's all in German.
Man muss ja auch mit dem Mädchen Deutsch sprechen.
So we filmed all of that, and I have that on YouTube. You can look at it.
Oh, really?
Okay. And it happened 3 times that we were in the cemetery that this girl, her name is Melanie, she sensed this entity.
Ja, also es ist 3-mal passiert. Sie hat irgendwas gespürt in diesem Grabstein herum. Weil die hatten nur Fotografen hier, die hatten nur Aufnahmen gemacht, hat nichts mit dem zu tun gehabt. In 2008 wurde es. Und dann hat sie irgendwas gespürt und seitdem geht er zu diesem Grab hin. Sie hat was gespürt, das ist 3-mal, 3 times she said it happened.
Right.
Also 3-mal.
Also die war direkt am dem Grabstein.
Ja, also she was on the grave. She didn't hear anything though.
That grave. Well, she felt it.
Sie hat es gefühlt. Sie hat nichts gehört, sie hat nur gefühlt, irgendwas gefühlt.
And I asked her, what does this lady look like? And she described the woman. And she said the woman was fairly short, about 25 to 30 years of age, brunette hair, hair up in a bun.
Also sie hat die Frau halt beschrieben, Mama. 25 bis 30 Jahre jung, anscheinend die Mutter. Und sie braune Haare.
Da, und wo liegt die Mutter?
And then she's asking, where's the mother?
Okay, I'll answer that in a minute. So, in October and November of 2008, we
Da steht 2008.
did not know who this was.
Wusste ja nicht, wer das ist.
As you can see, you can't read the grave,
Ja.
even with the flashlight. And we looked here, we couldn't read this, but Melanie said, look, there's a lamb here. This is a child.
Oh, ja, das ist ein Kind.
Ja, ein Lämpchen.
So we didn't know what to think.
Wir
And
wussten nicht, was sie daraus machen sollen.
I was curious. I kept coming back. And then in August of 2012, I did a tombstone rubbing, which is where you put a piece of paper on the tombstone, and with a crayon you rub over it so you can read what it says.
Exactly.
And as a result of that, then I could tell that this was Lily Bartles.
That's when so 3 years later you actually found the
Figured
name.
out the name. Yeah,
Okay,
that
3
whole
Jahre später. Er kam halt immer alleine zurück, weil es hat ihn interessiert. Und 3 Jahre später hat er dann mit so Crayola und so ein Papier drüber, weißt du, und dann hat er das so gekratzt und dann hat, weil er konnte das nicht lesen. Und dann hat er erstmal gesehen, welcher der Name war, wann gestorben, wann geboren, ja.
Okay, so on that same day, I looked there.
An demselben Tag hat er darüber geschaut.
And you can read these.
Und man kann das ein bisschen besser lesen. Siehst, alles auf Deutsch.
Gestorben.
Alex Bartles.
Alex Bartles, and this is GEB, so that's
Geboren.
geboren,
Yes.
Geboren, ja.
Born.
May
Mai.
10th, 1893, gestorben, June 22nd, 1895. So, 2 years old.
Ah, 2 Jahre nur alt.
This is Etta Bartles. She was born in 1890 and died in 1894. So she was 4 years old.
Oh,
And then there's something
Das
written
ist-
here.
Das sind zwei
Can you
Kinder.
see if you can read what this says? It's German. Let me grab this right here. Okay. See if you can read what that says.
Engel, die an Gottes
Thron erhören, sind für fromme Eltern nie verloren. Okay, Engel means angel. That believe in God is throne is the throne is the throne. So the angel that believe in God's throne, that hear me, that they're never loose, they're never far. Verloren means losing, that they're really not lost from their parents. So angels.
Okay, so the angel that sits on the throne of God is not lost from the parents?
No, I know that the Engel that means, Doug, is the children.
Oh, not
They're
an angel, children.
These are angels. When they're in German, a lot of times when there's a child passed away or died, they call them little Engel, kleine Engel. Gell, Mama?
Ja. Mhm.
So it's actually referring, Engel means angel also,
Das sind Kinder.
but
Mhm.
when they're children, it's referring to them. Engel, die an Gottes Thron erhören, sind für fromme Eltern nie verloren. And there's an exclamation. And so that means the little angels that are listening to God, they're not lost. Even from fromme, waren das strenge? Fromme bedeutet strenge?
Nee.
Nee.
Fromme, das waren so heilig.
Oh,
An Christen.
fromme means Christian parents.
Okay.
That they're not lost from their Christian parents.
Okay.
So it rhymes in German only. It will not rhyme when I translate it in English.
Right, so say it in German.
Okay, Engel, die an Gottes Thron erhören, sind für fromme Eltern nie verloren.
And does that maybe come from a song or a poem?
It comes usually from a obituary or the German Bible.
Okay. Now, over
Ja,
here,
das ist German Bible.
Yeah.
over here, this is harder to read. I don't know if you can see it on the bottom right here.
Wow, that's so beautiful.
Wenn kleine
Himmelserben in ihrer Unschuld sterben, so büßt man sie nicht ein. Oh. Okay, so that means when the little ones are dying, and very innocent. Unschuld means innocent, and they're innocently are dying. Then they have no fault of their own.
Das sind wohl alles Geschwister bei uns.
Das ist die Lili Mama,
Tochter
die
von-
Tochter von Hermann.
I have to get over here where I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so you can read it a little better there.
Hier ruht in Frieden.
In Frieden.
So he rests in
Lili.
peace.
Rest in peace.
Lilly, Tochter von Hermann und Emma Bartels, born.
Juni.
Oh, this is your birthday.
Ja.
My mom has the same birthday.
Oh, really?
Yes. She's July 22nd, 1894. Gestorben, GEST is abbreviation for passed away, gestorben or died, September 5th, 1899. Wow. And that means, when the little ones, wenn kleine Himmelserben in ihrer Unschuld sterben, meaning the little ones that were supposed to go to heaven, but they die innocently.
Now, do you feel anything near this grave? And let me go get my camera. I'll be
Fühlst
right
du
back.
irgendetwas? Also ich fühle nichts.
Vielleicht, dass man mit ihr spricht.
I do not feel anything right now.
Lili,
My mom
was
is not
hast du?
feeling
Lili, was
My
hat
mom
dir,
will start talking German right now to
was
her.
hat dir die Leute, wer hat dir das angetan? Sprich mit uns, sprich mit mir. Ich bin Deutsch und du, sprich mit mir, Lili.
So she's saying, speak with me, Lily, if you have anything to say. I am German.
Komm,
You are
sprich mit
German.
mir. Lili,
Lily, sprich mit uns.
dass du zur Ruhe kommst,
Speak with us if you feel like
dass
you
du
need
zur
some
Ruhe
peace.
kommst, Lili. Ich will dir helfen, komm.
I want to help you. Wir wollen
Gib
dir
mir ein
helfen.
Zeichen, Lili, komm.
Lily, wenn du, if you want to give us a sign
Gib mir ein Zeichen, Lili, komm.
of something, es sein.
Ask her if she liked the flower that I brought.
Er hat die Blume gebracht an ihren Todestag, das war ja am 5. September.
Ah, ja.
Frag sie, ob sie die Blume mag.
Lili, magst du die Blumen? Was sind deine Lieblingsblumen? Sag, sprich mit mir. Lili. Ist es okay, Lili? Ich weiß, du findest keine Ruhe. Deswegen sprich mit mir. Lili. Gib mir ein Zeichen. Wann gehen wir vielleicht, das passiert vielleicht jetzt nicht, aber es vielleicht passiert mal das nächste Mal. Die muss ich erst einmal vielleicht an der Stimme gewöhnen.
She's saying it
Deutschstimme.
may not hear something right now, maybe another time.
Sure, they,
However, she wants to just get her, Stimme means voice, so I get used to the voice. You know,
let me tell you
wir
what.
können mit dir sprechen, Lili.
Let me tell you what happened in May of this year. It was,
In Mai. Okay, that's one thing I haven't shared with her yet. So
okay, okay.
in
So,
Mai dieses Jahr.
and we'll look at the graves over there. That's Emma and Herman Bartels. That's the mother and the father.
Das ist der Mann.
So we'll go look at that in a minute.
And these are the other two.
These
little
are 3 children.
They died under the age of 5.
Yes. Now imagine how that must feel as a mother. I mean, well, let's go back to 2008
Okay, geht zurück zu 2008.
when Melanie was here pointing at this grave. She was saying, "This is it," because this entity was talking to her, or she was sensing this entity, and the entity was saying that there was an injustice.
Okay. In 2008, wo die Melanie, das also was für ihn ein Model war, hat zu ihm gesprochen, dass da irgendwas ist mit ihr passiert.
Hat sie mit ihr gesprochen, die Lili?
Nein, sie hat das Gefühl, also she actually did not speak. She could not hear
No,
words.
no.
Sie hat das gefühlt, Mama.
Sie hat das Gefühl.
Ja, sie hat das Gefühl, dass irgendetwas Schlechtes passiert ist. Injustice ist etwas Schlechtes, Mama.
So Melanie said there was an injustice. I don't know what it is,
Sie
but
weiß
the
nicht
entity wants me to know there was an
Aber
injustice.
sie wollte, dieser Spirit oder dieser Geist wollte Melanie wissen lassen, dass da irgendetwas passiert ist. Aber sie wusste nicht was.
So I discovered in August of 2012 that you could read this if you do it carefully. Now, the night we were here in 2008, we couldn't read anything.
Couldn't read nothing, yeah.
I mean, we didn't have the idea that a bright light shining like this can bring the letters out.
Absolutely.
And you can see that on the tape because that's all recorded. So August 2012, I did the tombstone rubbing. I realized those children are the brother and sister, and there's the mother and father. So in May of 2015, that's just a few months ago, I came out here with Cheryl.
Mit Cheryl ist die andere.
I had told her the story, and when she got here to this grave, we were standing up.
Sie waren gestanden, also die Cheryl ist die die Träume hat.
She took a picture with her phone, and then she picked her foot up. And I said, "What's wrong with your foot?" And she said, "Something's on my ankle."
Das hat sie berührt gehabt. An ihren Fuß, die Cheryl, im Mai. Im Mai. Ja, hat sie was berührt.
We thought it was a weed or a
Das
bug,
war ein Käfer oder ein
piece
Unkraut.
of grass.
Ja, Gras.
So then we walked over here
Dann sind
to that
Dann
grave.
sind sie hier rübergelaufen, Mama.
She took a picture of that grave, and she felt her ankle again, like there was something on her ankle.
Als ob wieder was an ihrem Fuß war, Mama. Hat sie wieder was gespürt.
So then we walked out of the cemetery. We were walking that direction, and you see that grave that I have the light on?
Ja, wo das Licht...
She felt it a third time, only
drittes
this time
Mal.
she felt something was pulling her ankle.
Aber diesmal hat irgendwas sie ein bisschen
Festgehalten.
ja,
Zurück.
wie festgehalten. Beim dritten Mal, das war bei dem Grab da.
So then, that night, she went home and she had a dream.
Und sie hat einen
Traum.
Traum gehabt. In der Nacht.
Ja.
Ja.
Was
Nach
hat
zu
die für-
Hause.
Ja, und was hat die für einen Traum gehabt?
What kind of dream she's asking?
Okay,
Did she have?
we call it the Jacob dream.
Der Jacob-Traum. Pass
Jacob.
auf, pass auf.
And she's had it
Jacob-Traum.
4 times.
4-mal hat sie den Jacob-Traum und it just came about, right?
Yes, it's very vivid.
Also er ist sehr klar. Der Traum, pass auf.
And she's walking through the grass, not here, but somewhere like this.
Ja?
She's walking very quickly, schnell,
Schnell, genau.
and she sees a man at the river.
Und sie sieht einen Mann am Fluss. Where's the river? Down here?
Well, it's not here.
Oh, there
Okay,
is no river.
it's
I see.
probably
Gotcha.
the Guadalupe River.
Okay, irgendein Fluss,
ja.
aber er nimmt mal an der Guadalupe-Fluss da unten,
Ja.
da in der Nähe.
We're not sure.
Wir sind nicht sicher.
And the man is pushing something in the water.
Und er tut in dem Traum, der Mann tut
pusht
irgendwas drücken, runterdrücken, beim Fluss.
And when she sees him, she says real loud, "Jacob!"
Oh, das ist-
And that's the end of the dream.
Und das ist der Ende der ersten Traum.
But the name Jacob was very clear.
It came in letters or?
No, it was the word. She said,
just
"Jacob."
Oh, also sie hat nicht den Buchstaben gesehen, aber den Namen
Den
gehört.
Namen.
Okay, so that's where I asked you at the bank, what's Jacob's Nachname?
Ja,
I mean, I'd like to know what
was
is.
ist der Nachname? Die wollen jetzt wissen, genau.
Von Jacob.
Die wissen nicht, ob er der Mörderer war, der das Kleine umgebracht
Das
hat.
Mädchen
Aber es kam halt sehr klar in dem Traum vor. Jacob.
So we think that
Jakob.
Jacob, we think that Jacob harmed Lily.
Ja, weil sie hat einen ganz komischen Traum gehabt, dass ein Jakob oder in Deutsch, wir sagen Jakob, we say
Jakob
Jakob,
in Deutsch, ja.
dass der, also vermuten, der weiß ja, Doug weiß es auch nicht für sicher, dass der irgendwas der kleinen Lily angetan hat.
Das kann schon sein.
Okay, so then she had what's called the attack dream.
Dann hat sie einen Angreiftraum gehabt, der zweite.
And in the attack dream, she has something black over her
Sie
face.
hat irgendwas Schwarzes über ihr eigenes Gesicht. Not Lily, you mean
Cheryl.
Yeah.
Well, Cheryl thinks that she's Emma.
Oh,
Okay.
she's Emma?
No, this
Not-
is Lily.
This is Lily,
This is
yeah.
Lily.
Oh, she's Emma.
Emma's the mother,
Oh, okay.
and in
Also,
the
Cheryl
dream,
denkt, sie ist die Mutter.
in the dream, Cheryl feels like she is in Emma's body.
Ah, okay.
Okay, when she sees
Verstehst du.
Jacob, she's Emma,
Sie ist halt im Moment Emma.
and then
okay?
when she's attacked, she's Emma.
Okay. Wenn
Okay.
sie angegriffen wird, sie ist Emma. Also in dem Traum, okay?
So something's put on her face, she can't see,
Sie kann nicht sehen.
and a big, strong man jumps on
Ein
her
großer Mann
and
starker
holds her
Mann.
hands above her head,
So hält er die Arme hoch von ihr.
and he's trying to calm her.
Er versucht sie zu beruhigen.
We think that what happened is that she saw whatever happened in the river,
Aha.
and he ran after her and knocked her down and is holding her, trying to calm her. Now, the attack dream was happened twice, right?
Oh, wow.
Then there was another dream that we call the running dream.
Okay, der dritte Traum.
Diese Rennen.
Die Mutter hat es bestimmt gesehen, dass ihre Tochter. Und dann ist er ihr nachgerannt und hat sie so festgehalten. Die Mutter. Der dritte Traum jetzt, Mama, ist der, wo ein Wegrennen. Das ist irgendwas mit Wegrennen zu tun.
Let's sit back over here and I'll tell you more. So what do you think so far?
Oh, very interesting.
She's not doing anything yet.
Vielleicht ist es bestimmte Tage, wo du was fühlst.
Ja,
Okay.
Sag dir erstmal den Traum weiter, Mama. Der ist wirklich interessant, was du für einen Traum hatte.
So in the attack dream, which came later, She sees the guy in the river. He jumps up and runs after her and pushes her until she falls down.
Oh, also tut sie wirklich niederschmeißen, bis sie hinfällt. In dem Traum, ne?
Ja.
In the Jacob dream, it's cold.
Ist
She's
kalt.
wearing a cloak, which drapes on her shoulders, goes down to her knees, and she's wearing riding boots.
Also Stiefel, Pferdestiefel so ähnlich.
In the attack dream, she throws the cloak off so that she can run faster.
Und in dem Traum, wo sie angegriffen wird, da tut sie ihren Mantel weg, dass sie
damit
schneller rennen. Ja,
kann.
genau.
We found out that in September of 1899, there were 8 hurricanes in Texas.
Also in dem Jahr, das letzte Jahr, waren 8 Hurrikane.
And the average temperature was 40 degrees.
Und die Normaltemperatur, also September, war 40 Grad. Das ist ungefähr 40 degrees.
So today it's 78 degrees.
So it was very cold. So ungefähr so vielleicht so 3, 4, 5 Grad. Also es war kalt.
So that explains. See, we don't know when the dream took place, but we think it's 1899. We think it's September 5th, 1899.
Ja.
She has this heavy cloak on,
Weil das ist ja warm, ne? So ein Mantel. Die Decken halt ist der Traum.
and when we checked the weather data, it said it was 40 degrees.
Oh, und die haben er kann so weit zurückgehen, 1899, und da war es halt sehr kalt, 40.
Ja.
Also, sagen wir mal, so 5 Grad vielleicht, 6 Grad, also es war kalt.
So it would make sense for her to have this cloak on,
Ja, also
this warm cloak.
In dem Traum macht es schon Sinn, dass sie so einen schwarzen Mantel anhat oder eine dicke Jacke, ne?
Ist kalt.
Let me see. Now, I have to sit a little closer here. Do you have your phone handy?
Yes.
Why don't you use that light? Okay, so I was curious about all of this.
Also war sehr neugierig über das, Mama.
And here, this is this year, 2015. Here's the date we came to the cemetery. Here's the dream started.
Oh, und die haben schon gleich angefangen, die Träume.
Okay, look at all these dreams.
Siehst, wo
That's all in May.
sind alles Träume im Mai
And then in
von dem Jakob und das
June, there's almost nothing. July, almost
alles
nothing.
ist fast nichts, siehst du's?
August, nothing. September, nothing. So there was a lot of activity in May. And that was right after we came to the cemetery.
Is it because Cheryl hasn't been out here?
I think so.
Siehst, es war, warum die Cheryl, war ja nur Mai mit ihm hier.
Ja.
Und wir vermuten, dass, weil sie hat keine Zeit mehr, seitdem sie nicht mehr hier ist, Mama, es sind keine Träume mehr. Weißt du?
Okay, so now I thought it was a good idea because Cheryl said that she could see the woman's face.
Oh, sie konnte die Frau das Gesicht.
So what I did,
Die Mutter, die Mama.
Die Mutter, ja.
I went to the internet and I got 16 photographs of people in the
Also
1890s.
er ist einfach zum Internet
Internet.
und hat 16 Foto vom Internet drucken lassen. 16 Stück, Mama.
Und hatte sie
von
das Gesicht
1899. Pass auf.
erkannt?
Warte.
Okay, and I included a picture of Emma
Und,
Bartles.
und er hat eins von Emma Bartles damit darunter getan. Aber das wusste die Cheryl ja nicht. Oh, she didn't know that.
Cheryl, well, she
Ja.
didn't know what
Well,
Emma looked like.
Sie wusste ja nicht, was Emma wie sie ausschaut.
Aussah.
Okay.
So I showed these to Cheryl, and she
Okay,
looked at
einfach
them.
So.
And within about a minute and a half,
Ungefähr innerhalb von 1,5
she looked at
Minuten.
this woman, and she looked at this woman. Okay, And she said, that's my number one choice, that's my number two choice. She signed her name.
Oh.
And out of all these pictures, she said, this is the woman I saw in my dream.
Das ist die Frau, die sie im Traum gesehen hat.
But this picture's too old. She was younger, like this woman. Okay?
Oh, she was younger.
But this woman doesn't have the right nose and the right eyes. These are the correct eyes and nose. Okay, well, this is Emma Bartels.
Das ist Emma Bartels. Oh, das ist sie, Mama.
Okay, so that's the lady that's buried right over there. Right there.
Also die ist da begraben. Das ist sie, Mama. Und sie hat es ja nicht gewusst, dass es Emma Bartels war, aber sie hat gesagt, das war die Frau in dem Traum. Mama.
So how does Cheryl do that?
Wie hat sie das gemacht? Wie konnte sie wissen? Also war irgendwas in dem Traum, Mama, weil sie hier auf dem Friedhof war.
Und da mit dem Jakob, dann hat er bestimmt was zu tun.
And she's seen him 4 times, or seen her 4 times.
Sie hat sie 4-mal im Traum gesehen. Und das ist wirklich die Emma Bartels. And you just researched all of this.
I researched this and found out there's a memorial to Emma Bartels, and her picture is on the memorial on the internet. And I didn't know any of this until after August of 2012.
Yes.
Okay.
Das auch erst später, Mama.
Now the fact that Cheryl identified that person amazes me.
That is shocking.
Because that means that this woman, Emma, made contact with Cheryl.
Ja.
And this also fits the description that Melanie described. Now, Melanie has not seen this. She's moved away. Last time I talked to her was November of 2014. And I said, if I gave you a lineup, could you pick her out? She said, I can still see her face. So we haven't done that yet, but you know, when I get to see her, I'll do the same thing.
Exactly.
And if she can choose that image, you know, that'll be pretty amazing.
That would be. Also Melanie ist sie schon seit Jahren weggezogen. Wie zuerst, wo sie mit 2008 hierher kam. Die Cheryl-Mama, die Träume hatte, die war ja nur im Mai mit dem Doug hierher gekommen und seitdem hat sie nichts mehr. Aber er hat gesagt, dass die Frau, Mama, kam 4-mal vor. Also vermutet der Doug, dass sie Kontakt mit der Cheryl aufgenommen oder aufnehmen wollte. Weil wer hätte das gewusst, Mama?
Ja.
Ne?
Ja, aber das kann aber auch sein, wieder, wenn sie es nichts mehr kommt, dass sie...
See, now this is the memorial on the internet. So there's her picture, Emma Starts Bartels. Now her middle name, her family name is Starts. So she's a Starts girl that the city of Startsville is named after.
Und da ist eine kleine Stadt in Startsville, sogar hier, weißt du, 20 Minuten von hier. Das ist ihr ist ja alles Deutsche, das sind ja Deutsche.
Now look where it says children.
Hier sind ihre Kinder, Mama.
Ja, genau.
Read them out.
Also Arthur Bartels, 1887 bis 1952. Und dann Ida Westphal, 1888, das ist ja später 1965 ist er gestorben.
But do you notice on the children there's
only 4.
There's no Lily.
There's no Lily.
Ja,
There's Ida und there's Alex.
Ja.
The little ones.
Aber Lily ist nicht drauf, gell?
Yeah, why are there 4 and not Lily?
Why is Lily gone?
Why would she not even be registered?
I don't know.
That had to do something to with the mom and dad, no? If they didn't register, put her in the...
Well, on the grave marker you saw it says the daughter of Herman and Emma Bartels.
So the grave came from obviously, right? The parents usually.
You would think. But why is it not on the list? See, that's another thing that I worried about.
Und macht sich halt Sorgen, warum ist die Lily nicht? Weil die anderen 2 Kinder haben sie bestimmt auch begraben, Mama.
Ja, weil ich glaube, das hat mit zu tun, weil das ist wie bei der Mama. Sie hatte ja keine Ruhe gefunden, bis ich gekommen bin. Dann, jetzt hat sie ihre Ruhe,
weil
Ja.
ich zum zweiten Mal. Und so geht es mit der Lilly.
Ja, aber es geht darum, warum ist sie nicht, wenn du im Internet schaust, warum ist sie nicht mit drauf? Es hat ja nichts damit zu tun, mit ob sie Ruhe hat oder nicht.
Doch.
Warum nicht? Is it
Warum nicht? You verstehen?
Ja,
Well,
ich
she
verstehe,
thinks
ja.
that because something happened to her.
Ich glaube, wenn
That's-
sie Ruhe hin zu der Mutter, dann ist sie vielleicht, dann kommt der Name drauf.
Ja, nein, Mama, das geht doch nicht. Das ist ja,
Ja, ich weiß
so
schon.
verfasst.
Ja, ja.
Das ist like a,
Oder ist es ihre Tochter nicht richtig? Ist
doch,
ihre,
it is her real daughter. Lily, right? You do know that Lily is.
All we know is what the grave says.
Ja, wir wissen halt nur, weil das der Nachname ist. Es hat ja
Ja.
Bartels.
Das kann auch sein, dass es nicht ihre richtige Tochter ist und hat einen Namen angenommen.
See, that's why I went to the Sophienberg
Deswegen
Museum to
Ist
see.
er in
Ja.
ein Museum gefahren, um rauszufinden, warum. Weil das hat ja Doug alles raus. I'm telling her that you found all this out.
Yeah.
All this research.
In der Library kann man das auch rauskriegen.
Die Bibliothek, Library.
Ja.
Und da ist aber ein Museum, Mama, in Sophienburg. Hier in der Nähe, das ist bei Neubraunfels. Und da hat er dann nachgeschaut. Und er findet schon was an der Lilly, aber nicht hier drauf.
Der Vater. War das ein großer Mann?
She's asking if the dad was a really tall man.
Why did you ask that?
Warum fragst du das?
Vielleicht hat der Vater irgendwas mit der Lilly zu tun.
If maybe the dad had something to do with them.
But why did you ask if he was tall?
Warum er groß war.
Ja, weil der Traum von der Frau hat doch einen großen Mann
Ja.
gesehen. Vielleicht war es der Vater.
What is she saying?
She's saying because in the dream it was a tall man.
Irgendwie
And
mein
she was
Magengefühl
asking-
sagt, dass das vielleicht der
Well-
Vater irgendwas zu tun hat.
Aber das ist ja nicht Jakob, das ist ein
This is Herman.
Hermann.
Hermann.
Ja, es Hermann ist nicht ein Jakob.
There's one
Im
more
Traum
dream.
ist es halt ein Jakob.
One more dream I didn't tell you about is the walking dream.
Also das ist noch ein Traum,
And
wo
Emma and Jacob are walking together,
Emma und Jakob laufen zusammen.
walking away from Cheryl.
Weg von der Frau, die den Traum hat.
And I asked Cheryl, how tall is this man?
Und wie groß ist der Mann?
And she said, he's not a whole lot taller than she is.
Nicht viel größer wie die Frau.
Frau. Steht der Vater mit drauf?
Okay, so
Ja, warte.
what's interesting, you asked that question, that's a good question. Let me show you a picture.
Der steht dann hier, Hermann Bartels hat bis 1936 gelebt, Mama.
All right, just a moment. Look at this while I'm hunting for, this is the newspaper. That's what I'm trying to read, and I can't read it.
Ach, das ist das Deutsche. Oh, das ist alles alte Schrift und ganz klein.
Altdeutsche
Das war
Schrift,
eine die Zeitung, Mama.
Wo ist damals
And-
passiert?
Is this talking about something?
Well, I don't know, I can't read it. This is the
what's
date.
it relating to?
This is the date, February 8th, 1899. And I finally found something close to September 5th, 1899. But this is so hard to read. The ladies at the museum told me that they do have obituaries, but I find the German hard to read and I find the type style hard to read. When you go to
das
the
ist ganz
museum,
schwer
you
zu
can make it
lesen.
bigger.
Ja, das ist
Man kann es größer machen.
Altdeutsch.
Yeah, it's an old German writing,
Das sagt
very
man
old.
Altdeutsch. Ja.
I can translate it. It'll take me a while, but I can
Well, what we need to do
make
is
it bigger. That's the thing.
what we need to
make
do
it
is go
bigger.
to the museum
Go to the museum. Yeah.
and search, because there's hundreds of pages.
Oh, I love to do that with you.
Okay, now there's Herman Bartels.
This is Hermann Bartels.
What is your impression of him when you look at him?
Kind of just
Das war
cold
ein
looking.
großer
Cold looking,
Mann.
right?
Ja, ein großer Mann. Das war ein großer Mann.
What did she say?
She said that he was a tall man.
You can tell
He
he's tall.
seems like that.
Okay.
Kind of cold looking.
Cold looking is the, when I saw that, remember when they had their pictures taken, that was a good day. Okay, they dressed up, it was a happy day. That's a good day for this guy. What does he look like on a bad day?
Der hat kalte Augen. Siehst du, böse Augen.
Hello, some
Zeig
bad
mir her.
eyes a little bit.
Und mir lässt das Gefühl nicht, dass der irgendwas mit dem Kind zu tun hat, mit Lilly.
Okay, now we found this.
Und das hat dann noch gefunden.
This is Emma, and this is Herman.
Ach,
And
das
now
ist
you can see the height difference. He's a very tall man.
Oh ja. Ach, das war ihre goldene Hochzeit.
Die Goldene.
Das ist der Hermann, Mama.
Hermann nochmal.
Und das
Ja,
ist die
siehst du,
Mutter.
Siehst du?
In ihren
Siehst
älteren
du, der war
Jahren.
groß, siehst du? Siehst du, das sieht man schon, dass das ein großer Mann war.
You can tell that he was a tall man. Okay, so this was Mr. and Mrs. Hampton. So at a golden wedding anniversary, the couple were honored with celebration of Spring Branch on anniversary, January 19th. Both are natives and lifelong residents of Spring Branch. Bartles is 71 years old, his wife is 70. And those attending are their the celebration were their daughters, Mrs. Ida Weber, Alvin Becker, Mrs. Peter Ebel, Mrs. Max Koch, twin sisters' sons, Arthur and Arno Bartels.
Now,
Sisters' sons.
do you notice that they don't say her name?
They do not say her name.
Why don't you say her name?
14 Gretchen, and they name all the other ones.
But they don't say Emma's name.
Die sagen, okay, hier sagen sie Mr. und Mrs. Hermann Bartels. Er fragt, Doug möchte wissen, warum die nicht ihren Namen. Siehst du, die sagen alle die Namen. Zum Beispiel hier von den Kindern, von den Überlebenden. Das war die goldene Hochzeit.
Ja, genau.
Und warum sagen sie nicht ihren Namen? Ist das so bei den Deutschen gewesen, Mama? Dass die sagen Mr. und Mrs. Hermann Bartel. Aber die sagen nicht ihren Namen. Emma.
Das normalerweise ist es für Frau, der Name Frau, Emma und Frau. Die sagen schon den Namen.
Und bei den Deutschen schon.
Ja.
She says normally you do say
Die sagen
the
schon
first
den Namen.
Yeah, well, that's what I would do. If I was a newspaper publisher, I'd say this is Emma
This
and
is
Herman
really
Bartels.
interesting.
Ja.
But they didn't say her name,
They
so
don't say
why
it.
not? Now,
Das
if
ist
you go back,
komisch.
I think this was around 1936 when
Okay,
this
das war
was done.
ungefähr 1936, Mama, da waren sie natürlich schon alt.
Alt,
You
ja.
know that women were not treated well.
Und die Frauen waren ja damals nicht gut behandelt in 1930. Warum?
And I'm getting the impression that he didn't treat her well.
Und Doug meint halt, dass er hat das Gefühl, dass er sie auch nicht gut behandelt hat.
Ich habe das Gefühl, dass irgendwas mit der Lilly zu tun hat.
That is something has to do
Das
with
mein
Lily and why
Bauchgefühl
she's not recorded.
sagt. Deswegen
If
steht
it's
die, auch
something has
nicht
to do with him, if he
steht die auch nicht drin.
said something, you cannot put her in this.
Well, one thought that Cheryl and
she's
I
saying
had
something
is
like
that
and
that Herman is not Lily's father.
oder dass der Hermann nicht
Ja, habe ich ja
der
gesagt.
Vater ist von
Ja,
Lily.
das ist, deswegen hat der die auch vielleicht, also mein Bauchgefühl sagt, das ist ein böser Mann, der hat Lilly, deswegen haben die, dass der die Lilly umgebracht
Aber
hat.
das sind noch andere zwei
With
Kinder.
all due respect.
Das ist seine richtigen Kinder. Und das ist, die Lilly ist nicht seine richtige Tochter.
Maybe
So
maybe
denke
it
ich.
could be another option. She's
Deswegen
saying that
findet die
these
auch
two
keine
are
Ruhe.
the real children and Lily was not. Could be a number of things though.
So what does that mean? That she had an affair with someone?
Dass sie vielleicht einen anderen
Ja,
von
das
jemand
gab es ja
anderem.
damals auch.
With
Yeah, she said there were, it did happen.
with Jacob?
Mit Jakob, mit jemand, der Name Jakob hieß. Weil der Jakob kommt ja vor in dem Traum.
Ja.
Now I don't want to show disrespect to Emma.
Aber er will nicht die Emma, weil wir wissen ja auch nicht hundertprozentig, er will nicht die Emma ihr keinen Respekt zeigen, Mama. Weil es war ja ihr Mann. Und weil wir wissen ja das auch nicht hundertprozentig. And I told her we don't want to show disrespect either because we don't know. for sure.
What we want is the truth.
We just want to know the truth. Wir wollen halt die Wahrheit.
Ja, so mein Bauchgefühl sagt, das war da nicht der Vater. Ja, das stimmt.
Dass die, we
Deswegen,
just want the truth. We just want to find out.
And why is
Wir wollen die Wahrheit wissen, Mama.
why is she contacting us?
Und warum will sie mit uns in Verbindung? Oder mit der Cheryl? Oder
weil sie jemand die Wahrheit sagen möchte, wie es passiert ist, nicht? Und sie kennt den Mörder.
she thinks she wants to tell the truth and that she knows who it was that murdered Lily.
Ja, und wenn sie erstmal Kontakt und dann kann sie in Ruhe
And if
in
she
Frieden
gets the
schlafen.
contact, she can maybe have a little bit of peace. Maybe it's my mom is saying also a little conscience, a bad conscience.
Or justice?
Or justice. That.
Ja,
Here's what I think.
Gerechtigkeit.
Here's what I think.
But this is very interesting.
I think that Emma knows what
Can I
happened.
see his again?
Emma knows what happened.
Also Emma weiß auch, Doug meint, dass sie weiß,
Sie weiß alles.
vielleicht,
Wer der Mörder.
And when it happened, nobody believed her.
und wo es und an dem Tag, wo es passiert ist, dass niemand ihr geglaubt hat. Das meint er.
Now, in Cheryl's dream, we get the name Jacob.
In
Okay,
dem
so
Traum,
we've been
weil
looking
sie hat
for
ja wirklich
Jacob.
was gespürt, hier auf dem Friedhof. Und was hat das mit dem Jakob zu tun? Ob der sie umgebracht hat? Wer ist der
Ja,
Jakob? Who
jedenfalls
is der
kennt sie
Jacob?
den Mörder, die Emma.
So I came over here and I, in my bad German, I said, "What's Jacob's last name?" I went to the courthouse. This was in May, and I was looking through the records,
Also das war im Mai jetzt, ne? Vor ein paar Monaten hat er das
and
hier.
the ladies there were helping me, and they said that it's going to be really difficult to find Jacob because Jacob was a popular German name. There's a lot of Jacobs.
Das war ein ganzer verbindlicher Name und viele haben Jakob gehießen und da kann er das halt nicht, ist schwierig rauszufinden,
Ja,
wer der
eben
Jakob
viele
war.
Jakob.
So we were looking through this one book, and Kat Brown is a lady that works at the courthouse. She opened the book, and she was going down through the book, and there's a pencil check mark beside Jacob S. Wetmore.
Da ist ein Bleistift, so ein
Also Haken.
Haken, genau.
Ja.
And there's no other check marks in there.
Das sind keine anderen.
So we said,
Keine anderen.
I think I have that here. I don't know.
Hat er, wenn du nach dem Jakob, die Stadt da, wo es passiert ist,
Did you ever research it in the town where the death possibly happened? Wir wissen ja nicht genau wo.
Say that again?
She's wondering if you had an idea where it happened or in which town, Lily.
We don't know.
We don't know.
All we know is what Cheryl dreamed, which is the river.
Irgendwas mit dem Fluss. Er weiß es nicht. And that all
wo
just
sie
happened in
gewohnt
May.
hat, die Emma. Vielleicht da, die Gegend. Nicht?
Das wissen wir nicht. Mom. Das kann ich nicht
I don't have that. But anyway,
Ist okay.
so we found this check mark.
So er hat es
You can turn that off if you want. We found this check mark. The same day, Cheryl works at the post office in Bulverde. And a man came in and...
Cheryl, the one that she had a dream.
Yes, Cheryl, the lady that's working on this with us. A man came into the post office and started talking about trains. I guess she had a T-shirt on that said had a train on it or something, and the guy started talking about trains, and he says, "Have you ever been to the city of Wetmore?" The city of Wetmore is near San Antonio, and it's absorbed now, so it doesn't exist anymore, but the city of Wetmore was a train station, and it was named after Jacob S. Wetmore.
That really was.
The Wetmore that we found in the book in the courthouse, on the same day, a man comes in and tells Cheryl about Wetmore, the city. So we're thinking,
That is something.
and this is after I came over here and said, I need a last name. What is it? V is Jacob's Nachname.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
You say it very right.
Okay, so we get these clues that it might be Jacob S. Wetmore. So we looked in the books, and it turns out that Jacob Wetmore is a trustee for the railroad that runs through New Braunfels. And he was doing what's called self-dealing. This is where they were taking railroad property, selling it to himself and a partner. Okay, basically stealing the land from the railroad. Okay, that's in the deeds, because it says, I forget the name of the railroad, the great, what was it, the Great Northern Railroad. It was running from Houston through Texas. They were just building it in the 1870s. And he was basically going down and selling railroad land to himself and this other guy named John Barnes, and it was prime real estate. It's where the station was going to be and where all the development was. So the guy's a crook. Okay.
The Wetmore guy.
Jacob Wetmore.
Yeah, he's a crook.
He's a crook. Okay.
Verstehst du das, Mama? Ein Krug ist er böser.
Okay, so I don't know when Jacob was born. I don't know
Wir
when
wissen
he
nicht, wann
died.
geboren wurde, wann gestorben ist.
But we do know he's a crook.
Aber wir wissen, dass er,
böse.
das war halt ein Scheißkerl.
And
Der hat Dinge für sich genommen, weißt, mit einem Partner noch dazu. Und der Jacob, Mama, wo er an dem Tag, wo er in der Bibliothek rausversuchen, den Namen weiß gesucht, kam jemand, die arbeitet in der Post, die Cheryl, da hier in Boverdy, kam jemand auf sie zu und hat mit dem Zug angefangen. Und es war die Zugstation in San Antonio da.
Ja?
Komischerweise an demselben Tag.
so we don't know if this is the same Jacob.
Wir wissen nicht, ob es derselbe Jakob ist.
But it's funny that I asked for a last name and then we get these clues. And it turns out Jacob is a prominent citizen in New Braunfels, but he does shady deals. You know, he's lining his own
Er ist halt sehr
pockets.
bekannt und reich ein bisschen, aber er ist
Now,
ein Scheißkerl.
Emma was a Starts girl. Okay.
Emma war von Starts.
And there's,
Das ist Startsville hier. Das ist eine deutsche Stadt, wo wir uns mal ein Apartment angeschaut hatten, Mama, für dich.
Ist die hier geboren?
that grave right there, actually several of those are Starts graves, okay, where some of her family members are buried. And she was, I think the Starts had 12 children. They were farmers and ranchers. And if you know Comal County, you don't grow anything here. This is rocks and cedar trees. It's not farmland. Right?
True.
Okay, so even though they settled here thinking this is a good place to live, it's not a good place to raise crops. I mean, look around. Do you see a lot of crops growing?
No, nowhere.
So the Starts family was likely very poor. Okay, 12 children. Mrs. Starts, I've forgotten her name, but she died early. So Mr. Starts eventually married the housekeeper. They probably didn't have a lot of geld, is that the word?
Money.
Money.
Wir hatten.
So would Emma Starts be attracted to Jacob Wetmore, a man that has a lot of money and influence? I mean, is that a possibility as to why there might have been an affair? Herman was a farmer.
Hermann war Farmer. Ja? Ein Bauer.
It said that
Aber der Jakob war ein Reicher. Falls da irgendwas eine Affäre war.
Genau, und der wollte vielleicht das Kind nicht.
Wer?
Der Jacob. Das ist vielleicht von der Emma, hat sie war schwanger mit Jacob und der wollte das Kind nicht, weil das war ja eine Schande damals.
Yeah, she's saying if it was Jacob's, if Lily was, then maybe he didn't want it, or Herman or somebody, because it was a shame back then in those ages.
Yes.
Because the women were nothing anyway. So,
Yes.
like you said, it was a
In
good
dieser
point.
Zeit.
Suppose Lily was an illegitimate child. That her father was Jacob. Herman found out.
Herman hat's rausgefunden.
Herman threatened to expose Jacob. Jacob, a prominent citizen of New Braunfels. He was also married.
Oh, ja. Er war
Okay.
natürlich verheiratet.
Ja.
Auch den,
So what does he do? Get rid of the evidence? I mean, this is just speculation.
Das ist alles nur Spekulation, aber wenn es von einem anderen Mann war, ne?
Aber mir denkt so, mein Bauchgefühl sagt, dass es nicht der Vater war, das ist der...
Obwohl sie Bartels mit Nachname heißt.
Ja, sie hat das ihrem Jungen von ihr
weil sie
angegeben.
die
Das
Mutter-
ist damals wegen der Schande, weißt du?
So now the
Even though
question.
she had a last name, I was saying.
The question is, well, maybe when she was born, they thought it was Herman's
was, of
child.
course, yeah.
Herman knew it wasn't. Maybe she looked different. Maybe she didn't.
Yes.
Maybe she didn't fit in. Maybe she looked like Jacob.
And then you don't see that at birth. It comes
A few years later.
Yeah. And she was about,
Why are
Past
these
her
other
toddler.
2 children dead?
because
Well, 3 kids in one family all die below
Well-
the age of 5.
there's one that was only 2, and sometimes they got sick.
Yes, and there are other children in the cemetery who died early. That was common.
That was common. So it could be that.
But 3, how do you bear that?
Wie kann man als Mutter das, und deswegen vielleicht hat sie keine Ruhe, wie kann eine Mutter mit 3 Kindern, weißt du, 3 Kinder, Mama. Because like the children on the ranch, where we have our graveyard, I want to take you there one day. Where we live, on that ranch has a graveyard, all Germans. Okay? Schlader, Müller,
Schlachter, ja.
nee, nicht Schlachter, Schlader, Müller und Kraus oder
Krause.
Krause.
Oder Krüger.
Krüger, thank you.
Krüger. Ja,
They are, they
Foto
were,
hast du.
yeah, habe ich ihm schon gezeigt. I have showed you the photos, remember? when
Yes,
I brought
yes,
it?
yes.
Ja.
Yeah, but you need to come out there with us maybe one day too. And then these 2 children, what we found out the death is they ate, there were trees, like an alley of trees, and I forgot the name of it. They ate fruit. And they ate too many of them, they died.
Okay,
And they
that
they were very young too, like lilies or younger.
that's
Right around Lily's age.
sehr interessant.
Sehr interessant,
Okay.
sehr gut, Dirk.
It's starting to come back. When I was looking into the death of Lily, I contacted a man that's related to the Bartles family. And I said, how did these children die? And he said, Alex ate some green apples and died. And he said, Etta they were boiling a hog, and the black pot fell over on her and scalded her.
No way.
And I said, how did Lily die? And he said, who's Lily?
No way.
And he said, I'll check, because there's somebody in West Texas that knows more about the family. And he said, I'll get back to you, and he never did. And I sent him emails saying, what's the story on Lily? The family doesn't acknowledge that Lily exists.
Yes, because like you said, there was not even something written in as an obituary.
So how can they deny the gravestone? It's sitting right there.
Yes. How come somebody did the gravestone?
And why?
And who was it?
Why in 2008 did Melanie go around this graveyard pointing flashlights at everything, and she zeroes in on that grave and said, this is it?
Warum ist da, wenn die Lilly nicht verfasst wurde im Rathaus, ne? Warum wurde die Melanie hierher gezogen? Sie wurde direkt hierher gezogen, Mama, bei der
Lilly.
Ja,
Nicht hier.
Nee,
Nicht bei der
nee,
Ada und
nee,
Alex.
nur bei-
Und das Interessante, I find it interesting. I want to translate really quick what you just said about that the bottle, somebody related to bottles, you said.
Yeah, it's a descendant.
Einer der Nachkommen von den Bartles hat dem Doug erzählt, aber der wohnt nicht hier, der wohnt weiter weg, dass der Alex, der Kleine, der Vierjährige, der war 4 Jahre alt, ne? Ist gestorben von grünen Äpfel gegessen, weil Doug hat ihn gefragt, wie ist der Alex gestorben? Grüne Äpfel gegessen, gestorben. Okay, das 2-jährige Mädchen, die Edda, die war nur 2 Jahre alt, die haben ein Schwein gebraten und der schwarze Topf ist auf sie gefallen und heißes Wasser, alles Mögliche verbrüht. Wie ist die Lilly gestorben? Und da sagt er, wer ist die Lilly? Ja. Er hat die Lilly nicht, er hat nichts von. Und die Lilly ist auch nicht verfasst, Mama,
siehst
ne?
du, irgendwas.
Die ist, she's not registered.
Right.
Like you've done so much research, you say, I'm telling her, she's not even registered. Aber da ist ein Grabmal. Irgendjemand, wir hatten das Grabmal dann dahin. That's what we need to find that out.
So,
Why is there a gravestone?
Sie ist ja erst gestorben wie die Eltern. Ja?
See, yeah, because they lived till what, the 1950s?
Emma died in 1962,
62.
and Herman died, I think, in 1936.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, so he died much sooner. Siehst du?
1936.
Ah, ja.
October 4th, 1936.
Ach, an Papa seinen Geburtstag an.
And he was born in
ist er gestorben.
He was born in 1865, and she was born in 1866. So she lived quite a bit longer than he did.
Ja, so
And I
he
found
lived
her
to
death
be-
certificate, and on the death certificate, it said that she spent the last 10 years of her life in a sanitarium,
what's the sanitarium again?
where you put insane people.
Oh no.
Wie die Altpeople, ja, die
Nee,
Alten.
Verrückte.
Verrückt, wollte ich gerade sagen.
Oh.
Sanatorium.
Die ihre letzten, er hat ihr Todesurkunde, Death Certificate you found.
Yes.
Okay, er hat die Todesurkunde gefunden von der Emma. Und die hat die letzten 10 Jahre, also sag mal von 50
Sanatorium.
bis 62, von 1952 bis 62, in San Antonio?
We found it in Comal County.
Somewhere irgendwo hier in
Comal
Comal County hier. Die hat in einem verrückten Center
Geliebt. Ja, weißt du warum? Die ist nicht drüber fertig worden. Sie wusste, dass es ihr Kind war.
Yeah, she just
Und sie
couldn't live.
Well,
or
if
something just got her.
something troubled her to
Yeah.
the last day of her life.
That's what my mom is saying. That's exactly what my mom is thinking.
so let's-
something troubled her.
Let's do this. First of all, let me ask your mother, what does she think about all of this? What's her opinion? What does she feel? What does she sense? What does she think?
Was fühlst du? Was ist deine Stimmung? Was meinst du über diese ganze Geschichte? Was meinst du? Und wie ist dein Gefühl?
Ich
Und
denke
was
so,
die Stimme?
ja, dass, wie schon gesagt, dass die, wenn die schon im Sanatorium war, dass die, sie hat das eben nicht verkraftet, weil das Kind umgebracht wurde. Sie wusste ja auch von wem.
Ja, okay. Und,
Von wem.
genau.
Und irgendwann, was hat sie, vielleicht ihr Ehemann, hat sie bedrängt, dass die nicht die Namen, weil sie waren ja früher auch die Männer, die waren ja auch gewalttätig, böse. Und ich nehme an, dass die so bedroht hat, die immer, dass er nichts von der Tochter. Und sie wird ihm nicht drüber fertig. Das ist ihr Kind. Und sie war unter Zwang von dem Mann. Er soll nichts sagen. Weil
Vielleicht.
ich nehme es so an.
She,
So mein
she
Gefühl sagt das
thinks
so.
it's more like of a feeling she has. She doesn't know for sure, but she wants to be clear. It's her feeling is kind of tending toward that she couldn't get over the loss of her daughter, and that she had guilt, and that she knew what happened to her, but that Herman was a rough man with her, that he was in control, and that whether he abused her or not, we don't know. But she didn't mention really abuse, but that he was pressuring her not to say anything, and that she feels that just, you know, she couldn't, that nobody would believe her, that she probably never got over it, and that eventually
Und sie bestand
Well, and-
auch
It could
drauf,
not
dass
be
die
in
Lilly,
peace.
dass die Lilly begraben wird bei ihr zusammen.
dass sie was?
Vielleicht so Testament, wenn sie tot ist, dass die Lilly bei ihr mit.
That's, I don't know if they had a testament back then or they had a will, but she maybe wanted to be sure that they were buried, they'd be close to Lily. I don't know how.
That you know, that's a
so
good.
back
That's
to
I've never thought of
times.
looking up a will. Maybe there was a will. We should look
If
that
there
up and
was,
see.
But they had a 50th anniversary, Doc. If that was in the paper.
And then he died a year later.
Yes, yes,
He died.
exactly. In 62.
He died a year later.
I mean, in 36.
36,
in
yeah.
36, and then the wedding anniversary.
And then
was-
she lived from 36 to 62
Oh,
by
that's
herself.
A long time,
Ja.
if you look at it like that.
And if you think about if
It's
what
not
you're
normal
saying is
cycle.
correct, and I have the same feeling, it's just a speculation.
Wir wissen nicht, ob Spekulation
She
ist.
carried this burden with her.
Ja, und sie hat dieses Schuldburden, ne?
Ja,
Also die ganze Zeit, die ganzen Jahre mit sich getragen.
Tragen, genau.
Das meint der Doug auch.
Ja, das Schuldgefühl hat sie
And-
mit ihm in den Grab mitgenommen.
Lily died 116 years ago.
116 Jahre ist sie schon tot, die Lily.
And Emma's making contact with Cheryl 116 years later.
116 Jahre später.
Warum?
Warum macht die Emma Kontakt? Nicht Lily. It's not a little girl, it's the Mama.
Emma,
Die
yeah.
Mutter, die Emma, ja. Die hat Kontakt mit der Cheryl aufgenommen. Dann hat sie Träume gehabt. That's what my mom and I are
Weil
so
sie-
intrigued about.
Genau.
Like why she had those dreams. Because
And why, here's another question. Why am I involved? I don't feel it. I don't,
you don't feel, yeah, that's
sense
why
it.
if I ask you at the bank, like, how, you know, you don't feel anything. I haven't felt anything. I haven't felt any, like, a feeling, a touch. I would tell you right away. My mom would tell you right away. And she has come through some spiritual
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
She has.
So does
So-
Emma not trust me?
Vielleicht, dass Emma uns nicht vertraut oder dem Doug, weil wir fühlen ja nichts. Also uns berührt keiner, ne?
Vielleicht, dass
Dass
du
sie
vielleicht
kann
öfters
vertrauen.
mal kommen.
That we have to come more often. Doug.
Well, and
Or-
but think of this too.
That's something with Cheryl.
She obviously made herself known with Melanie and
With
me,
Melanie and you.
and then with Cheryl and me.
Years later, though, yes.
So maybe she does trust me, but maybe I just can't communicate.
And maybe it's just a woman thing, too.
Well, we thought of that too. You know, maybe men treated her so badly that she just, I'm not talking to a guy about this.
Ja. Sie weiß, dass Doug nichts Böses will, aber sie vertraut keine Männer. Das kann ja auch sein. Aber schau mal, wenn du zurückgehst, 2008, die Melanie war hier mit dem Doug und auf einmal spürt sie was und sie geht direkt hin
Ja,
bei
bei
dem
der
Grab.
Lilly.
Nicht bei den anderen Gräbern, nur hier. Ne? Und dann in der Cheryl, die hat so brutale Träume gehabt.
Ja, die.
Und auf einmal kam der Jakob und das war im Mai, erst vor ein paar Monaten. Ne? 5 Monate her.
So,
I just told her a few months ago it all
Ja,
happened
die
with the
Mutter möchte
dreams.
die Wahrheit jemand erzählen.
Yeah, maybe that the mom Emma
Wie
wants
es
to
wirklich war.
tell the truth to somebody.
well, and I keep saying, why me?
Weil
Does she know I'm in the newspaper business?
Warum, ja. Vielleicht weiß sie, ob er weil er schreibt ja auch Zeitungen und Berichte, ne? Weiß sie das? Das ist an der Maybe.
I mean,
Doug.
people tell me their troubles all the time for the newspaper. Hey, you need to get this out. You need to publish this. You need to
bet.
tell the community this.
I bet, Doug.
I wonder if she knows that.
Well,
So here's the other thing I want to do. I would like to speak to her. If you can just translate. You know, that's her grave right there. So just speak up. And I'm not sure what to say. I mean, if she's heard all of this, she knows what we think.
absolutely. If they're here, they know it. They just yes.
But if you don't mind, I would like to just talk to her for a minute, and you can translate, and simply say that we mean no disrespect. We're curious. You obviously contacted us, so you want to tell us something.
Ja.
So would you tell her that, and then?
Also Emma, ich soll es jetzt übersetzen. Ne? Also Emma, wir möchten dir wissen lassen, dass wir möchten dich nicht kein Disrespekt dir geben. Wir möchten schon dir ehrlich die Wahrheit sagen, dass wir hierher kommen und mit dir sprechen wollen, mit dir Kontakt aufzunehmen. Wir wollen dir kein Böses, wir möchten dir kein Böses zuleiten. Wir möchten nur, dass du unser Vertrauen erhältst und dass du uns Bescheid sagst, warum du mit uns Kontakt oder mit dem Doug, mit der Melanie, mit der Cheryl, warum hast du mit denen Kontakt aufgenommen? Und wenn du irgendetwas zu sagen hast oder uns was wissen lassen möchtest,
Gib uns ein Zeichen.
gib uns eine Antwort, gib uns ein Zeichen.
We need clues, we need information, so that we can find the records to prove the story.
Ja, wir brauchen Anzeichen oder bestimmte Mahnungen von dir, dass wir mit der Zeit bestimmte Zeitungsberichte ausdrucken können, was passiert ist.
Mit deiner Tochter Lili.
Mit deiner Tochter
Lili.
Lily.
Cheryl received the dreams very clearly. That gave us good clues, but we don't have enough.
Okay, die Frau Cheryl hat sehr gute Tipps und Anzeichen bekommen in ihrem Traum, aber wir brauchen noch ein bisschen mehr, Emma. Wir brauchen ein bisschen mehr von dir, um zu erklären können, was passiert ist.
Warum ihre Tochter nicht verfasst
Und warum deine Tochter nicht verfasst ist, sodass wir oder der Doug darüber schreiben kann.
Is Jacob's last name Jacob Wetmore? Are we right about that, or is Jacob? Does he have a different last name?
Ist der Jakob oder der Jacob? Ist sein Nachname der Wetmore? Ist es der richtige Nachname oder ist es ein anderer Name, Emma? Das möchten wir gerne wissen.
Can you tell us what happened to Lily?
Kannst du uns sagen, was mit der Lily passiert ist? 1899.
What else should we ask her?
We can ask her.
Can we do anything to help you?
Ja. Können wir irgendetwas für dich tun, um dir zu helfen?
What else?
Emma, we can say,
Gib uns endlich ein Zeichen, Emma. Please, bitte.
give us a sign, give us eine Antwort, is an answer.
I got that.
I know, yes, very good, sehr gut. And we can ask her,
Let's give her an idea for a sign. Speak to Cheryl auf Deutsch.
ja,
Sprechst du
Sprich.
zum Cheryl auf Deutsch?
ja.
Am I saying that
Ja.
right? Wow.
Sprich mit der Cheryl auf Deutsch, yes.
And that'll be a clue.
Und das würde auch ein Zeichen sein, dass du mit uns, wenn du mit der Cheryl if you feel comfortable with Cheryl, Emma, please give her a sign, whether it's another dream, have her make her feel like she needs to come out here, an urge of some sort. Okay, Emma? Also wenn du irgendwas, ein Zeichen hast, sag das der Cheryl Bescheid irgendwie in ihrem Traum oder dass sie hier nochmal mit aufs Grab auf Besuch kommt, wenn du mit ihr sehr, sag mal, dich wohlfühlst, ja, und Vertrauen. If you feel comfortable, vertrauensmäßig, and she feels comfortable, also komm und sag uns Bescheid. Emma.
Is somebody trying to prevent you from talking to us?
Tut dich irgendjemand daran hindern, mit uns zu sprechen? Emma, tut dich irgendjemand hindern?
See, I've considered that if Jacob's still around,
Of course, it could be an entity.
he would try to prevent it.
Obviously,
If
there is
Herman is still
something.
around, he would try to prevent it, maybe. You know, you don't know when someone dies, you don't know when they cross to the other side.
Exactly.
And you don't know why they're stuck. Sometimes they're
Exactly,
stuck.
and that happened to my Oma. Doug.
And you haven't told me that.
No, I haven't told you that because I told you at the bank briefly before that we've had an experience in my aunt and uncle's house where my mom is about to move back to. That when after my grandmother died in 2004, my Oma, so her mom, okay, and they were siblings of, wie viele Kinder wart ihr?
7.
She was a mother of 7 also, and she passed away suddenly. However, in 2004, my mom was actually here. She actually lived here. We didn't get to see her. Booked a ticket, flew back. When we got to the house, oh my goodness, I had my first, I didn't have my third child then, of course. So I had a 3.5-year-old, I'm sorry, yeah, I had a 3-year-old and my 18-month-old baby, okay? They were in the crib, sleeping next to me. I was sleeping in my Oma's bed. My mom was sleeping in the living room. First time I've ever noticed anything. What it first started was breathing. I could feel and hear somebody breathe with me. That's the first time I've ever come across somebody, like an entity that, and then I couldn't move. I laid in her bed and I could hear curtains. Because as Germans, we have curtains, you know, on the windows. I could hear curtains move. I heard doors. I mean, they all came within a few
Und
minutes.
das Schnaufen.
Then I ran to my mom. I got up. I checked on my kids. I went to the living room. I went through the door. I went to the living room. She was on the couch, sleeping, snoring, everything. Woke her up. I said, Mama, da ist irgendwas. There is something. And I can hear it, and I don't know what it is. And I didn't know it was my Oma. But she told me that that's how she was, because whenever they were older and she would sleep next to her in a bedroom or something, that was her breathing, Doug. And she said, why are you afraid? That's your Oma.
Sie wollte mich noch mal sehen, bevor ich
So this went on every single night, and we were there for about 2 weeks. And it didn't happen the first night I got there. This was maybe after the 3rd or 4th. I wish I had written it down, but it just happened until the very last day. And I could hear doors. And she said this is where she walked through the door. And she hadn't passed over because she wanted to see us one more time. And
Did it eventually stop?
it did stop. When we were there in August, or we went back in 2009, we went back in 2014 of July and August of last year. I've never heard her breathe again. I never hear the doors, I never hear the curtains, I never hear her open the windows. I never heard words, but I could like feel her.
Sense, yeah, sense.
I mean
mich
that
noch mal gesehen.
I feel, I'm trying to feel here, and so I know that there is something, Doug. I just didn't want to really talk about it at the bank. So I know, and she sensed it too. I mean, she even told me that is Oma, that is her mom. It's like, you know, you don't have to be afraid. But I was a little, my knees got a little soft. I
Well,
felt a
yeah,
little
because
wobble,
you're not
'cause
sure.
I was, yes. And, you know, there was never any harm done. However, my cousin, who also believes in stuff like this, my younger cousin, who lives downstairs, it's my aunt and uncle's house, and my grandma, my Oma, used to live upstairs. He went up there, and he would actually sleep in the bedroom after we went back to the U.S. And he would, you know, he would call me. I never felt anything. He could never hear her, nothing. So we're thinking she just wanted to tell us goodbye before she crossed over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
In all these years till today, Doug, we've never heard from her again. So we're thinking maybe she crossed over.
Well, and that's reported by a lot of people.
Right.
When my when my grandfather died, he lived with my uncle, and my uncle was a school principal and worked in the workshop a lot. And there was a kid that had some kind of crippling thing with his feet, and my uncle was making him a cart that he could get around
Oh,
with.
how nice.
So he was spending a lot of time working on this while my grandfather was very ill. And then my grandfather died, and my uncle felt guilty. You know, that I didn't spend enough time at his bedside. I was working on this in the workshop. Well, he said that my grandfather appeared to him at the base of his bed and said, "It's all right. You know, you're doing a good thing, and it's fine. Don't worry about anything." Now that kind of, and never saw him again.
Huh.
But see,
Just
that
down
kind of thing happens a lot.
It does, right?
You know, people report it all the time.
Huh.
You know, that these kinds of things take
Museum,
place.
yes.
And it's
Ja,
not
das
like they're
passiert, ne? Das
stuck.
wir
It's,
einmal noch mal sehen.
Ja.
it's like they're saying goodbye.
Ja, ist wie auf Wiedersehen
Ja,
oder ne, noch
goodbye,
einmal
genau, auf
sagen.
Wiedersehen.
Und das war Oma auch so. Siehst du, das
Ja.
ist mit seinem
Onkel
Opa
oder Opa.
und mit dem Onkel, ja, sein Onkel, ne? Der Opa ist dann gestorben und der Onkel hatte schweres Gewissen gehabt. Ach, er hat ihm nicht geholfen, weil er war ein Direktor in der Schule, ne? Und dann hat er gesagt, er hatte schlechtes Gewissen, weil der Großvater hat er nicht noch mal gesehen, der Opa. Aber der Opa kam ihm dann auf Besuch an der Bettseite, ne? Am Bett, am Rande des Bettes, hat er gesagt, ist doch okay. Brauchst dir nichts denken, du bist da gut da. Und ich
Das ist komisch, dass sie
vergebe
noch mal,
dir.
ja, genau, noch
Und
mal
so
zurück.
war das mit der Oma, ne? We're thinking that's, yeah, you know, for us it was a really interesting experience
Damit sie in Ruhe
too, because,
zu den
you know,
Engel-
my mom was, of course, you know, was her mother.
Yes, yes. Here's another example, and this involves Melanie. Melanie is an empath.
What's an empath again?
An
How
empath
can
is
I-
a person who can walk into a room and they feel other people's emotions.
Oh.
Okay,
Okay, das ist Melanie, die kann in einen Raum laufen, Mama, und die spürt sofort andere Leute ihre Gefühle. Ein Empath, aber ich weiß nicht, wie man das auf Deutsch sagt. I don't know exactly how to translate right now at the moment. I'm sorry, empath, but I described to her.
okay. So anyway, she's an empath. And I knew that about her, and people don't believe her and don't trust her, and she says it's very difficult because you walk into a room and you get all of these feelings and you can't stop it. Okay, and people that are empaths, it drives them crazy. I mean, it really makes them like.
Also das macht die verrückt, wenn solche das fühlen. Das ist ein junges Mädchen, ne?
So
Das sind so alles möglichen Gefühle.
Ja.
she made contact with my brother, who
Sie
is
hat Kontakt
who is
mit-
deceased, and she said, "You haven't visited your brother at the cemetery." And I said, "No, I haven't. In 20 years, I haven't gone to the cemetery."
In
And
20 Jahren sein Bruder.
so she said, "Your brother wants you to visit." I said, "Okay, well, we can do that. 20 years is long enough."
Ja.
And I said, "Let's plan and do it." And she said, "I can see the graveyard." And she said, "There's some flat graves, and he's over near the flat graves." And I said, "That can't be, because he's buried at Fort Sam National Cemetery in San Antonio.
Oh ja?
And all the graves they're tall, they're crosses. You've seen, you know, national
the
cemeteries.
so
It's
he
cross,
was in
cross,
the
cross, cross, cross.
military, yeah.
And I said, it can't be. There's no flat graves over there. You know, I've been by it a lot of times, and there's thousands of graves, thousands over there. I said, that can't be. She said, let's go. I'm telling you that he's buried over near some flat graves. I said, okay, let's go. So we went, and we went to the entrance, and I said, we need to go find a registry so we can look it up and see where he is, because, I mean,
so
there's
many.
probably 10,000 graves there.
In Fort Sam.
In San Antonio, yes.
Oh, wow.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's just row after row after row after row. And she said, I don't need a registry. I know it's over there. Let's just go that way.
Das
So
ist
we
jetzt mit der Melanie, seinen Bruder zu finden, ne, der Grabmal.
so we started driving, and lo and behold, there's some flat graves. I didn't know they were there. I'd never seen them there. And he wasn't in the flat graves, but he was right next door. And I said, how did you do that? And she says, your brother told me this. Now that's something I personally witnessed.
Wow.
And so there's no way she could have known that unless somebody didn't communicate with her and say, you know, this is where I'm at.
Yes, that's really good, Melanie, ja. Also er hat vor 20 Jahren seinen Bruder verloren, Mama. Und Melanie hat ihm gesagt, wo das Grabmal war. Das wusste er nicht. Das ist, wo die ganzen Soldaten, weißt du, wo begraben sind. Das sind ja Tausende von, ja. Und er hat gedacht, ach, das ist so, weißt du, das sind immer doch solche
Holzkreuze.
Ja. Und sie hat gesagt, nein, es ist ein Flachbett. Und da hat der Doug ihr gesagt, der Melanie, nee, das kann nicht sein. Und dadurch ist er, wie wir mit der Oma, hat er beweist, dass der Bruder hat mit der Melanie Kontakt aufgenommen. Er soll zeigen, wo das Grabmal ist. Und er soll ihn mal besuchen kommen. Und dann hat sie es ihm gezeigt. Sie hat es aber wirklich gefunden. Weil das sind, Tausende von Grabmälern. That is incredible.
So we know that people live after they die.
Yes.
We know that.
Yes.
Now the question is, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do about it?
Yes.
You know, Emma has contacted us. What does she want us to do? And you know that's I've puzzled about that for what, 7 years?
7 years, yes, yeah, it's a long time, Doug. Yeah. So Emma, yeah. Also falls du uns hören kannst, if you can hear us, bitte sag uns Bescheid. Wir können mit dir Deutsch sprechen. We can speak German with you if you like. Ist kein Problem. Du kannst uns Bescheid geben und uns es wissen lassen, was passiert ist. Wir meinen nichts Böses, Emma. We don't mean any harm. Wir wollen nur dein Vertrauen haben. We would like your trust. Dass du uns erzählen kannst, was passiert ist.
Sie will erstmal Vertrauen in uns vielleicht wecken.
She maybe wants some trust first.
Weil sie ist sehr verbittert.
Yeah, she's maybe very bitter. Or something that...
Wouldn't you be?
Yeah, you probably couldn't even cross over. Because of something that happened, like you said, 116 years ago.
If you think about what she must have gone through, that's pretty traumatic. And maybe she doesn't know how to forgive, or doesn't know how to forget, or doesn't know how to get justice. I think it's justice.
Yeah.
I think that she feels...
Gerechtigkeit.
Ja. Gerechtigkeit ist in
Justin
German.
weiß ich, was Gerechtigkeit ist.
What would your Gisela, right? Richtig?
Ja,
Richtig.
What would you like to say to Emma?
Was möchtest du gerne zu der Emma sagen?
Ja, ich möchte auch nur sagen, dass ich möchte deine Geschichte, die Wahrheit wissen, Emma.
bitte sag es uns. Und das bedrückt mich auch natürlich über deine Tochter Lili. Sandra auch. Und gib uns ein Zeichen, bitte, bitte. Lass es uns wissen. Das nächste Mal, wenn wir kommen, möchte ich, dass du uns alles die Wahrheit richtig erzählst. Nur du kennst die Wahrheit, Emma. Bitte, bitte, erzähl es uns.
Okay, so she was saying that she feels that Emma is burdened with something, and it's really putting so-called something down on her, pressure on her, and that it is giving my mom a burden, that it's giving us a burden, because we want to know, we want to help, and that she's saying, please, please, give us a sign, give us of some sort, a talk or a sign of that you let us know of what happened, or if we come the next time, you will feel that you want to share something with us.
Ja, sie findet keine Ruhe, bis sie jemand Vertrauen erweckt. So
She,
findet sie keine Ruhe.
She's saying that she may not find a peace until she has somebody she can tell everything to, and know that what happened she can talk about it, or somehow give us some clues.
So that we can
For this time.
understand and stand up for her.
So dass wir sie verstehen können, dass wir dich verstehen können, Emma, und dass wir für dich Gerechtigkeit finden.
I mean, we don't like things that are wrong either.
Ja, wir mögen ja auch nicht, ne, dass wenn was Falsches passiert, dass das unterdrückt wird.
I mean, maybe the reason that she's communicating through Melanie and Cheryl to me is that she knows I'm a guy that fights for people.
Vielleicht weißt du, Emma, dass der Doug einer der guten Menschen ist und der für Gerechtigkeit kämpft, ja, und dass du mit ihm Kontakt aufnimmst durch die Cheryl oder durch die Melanie. Aber wir möchten halt von dir wissen, weil wir auch Deutsche sind. We just like to know if you can say something, because we are Germans too.
Oh, you can tell her this. I don't know if I've ever explained this to her. I might have said this, I don't remember, but my grandparents immigrated from Germany in, we're not sure, we think the 1880s. You know, I told you, but we haven't told her. They came in through Galveston and they moved to Wharton, Texas. And so they came here about the same time Emma did.
Also die Großeltern, die Oma und Opa von dem Mr. Doug hier, die sind auch eingewandert von Deutschland, waren Deutsche, ungefähr 1880 rum, in diesem Dreh rum. Und die sind von Galveston, von da unten eingewandert, wahrscheinlich bei Schiff, per Schiff? Bei Schiff?
I think so.
Ja, wir nehmen mal an
They
mit
didn't
Schiff.
fly a plane.
Oh ja, bei Schiff, of course.
1800 sind sie meist mit dem Schiff.
Ja, mit Schiff.
And I don't think they didn't swim, did they? No, I never asked that question, but I guess they came by ship.
Ja, von 1880 rum, und die waren auch Deutsche, Emma. Also er versteht schon, der Doug würde schon verstehen, weil er hat deutsche Vorfahren gehabt.
My grandparents' name were Ado Hendricks and Meta Hendricks.
Und Meta. Meta?
Meta, M-E-T-A, Meta.
Meter.
M-I?
M-E-T-A.
M-E-T-A.
Meter.
Meta. Meta Hendricks, okay.
And my grandmother was a Teskey. Her maiden name, she was a Teskey.
Ach so, und ihr Geburtsname war Teske.
Deske.
Is that a very common German
Das
name?
gibt's noch in Germany, Deske.
Ja, ab und zu. Ja, Teske.
Das gibt's.
Probably
Deske.
more than my maiden name, which was Streibing. Was nicht so
And
common.
what about Henriks? Was that a common name?
Hendrix?
Hendrix gibt's auch.
Ja? Schon?
Hendrix
Ja,
und Deske habe ich schon
ja.
genug gelesen.
She says it's actually quite common.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. See, I didn't know. I wasn't sure, so I asked her.
And my grandparents were farmers,
Das waren Farmen, Bauern.
Bauern.
and they
Farmleute.
grew potatoes,
Und die haben Kartoffeln
Kartoffeln, ja,
gepflanzt.
and they worked very very hard.
Und die haben
Most
sehr,
Germans do.
ja, ja,
Ochsen und mit dem
ja,
ja.
sehr schwer gearbeitet.
ja,
Ja, viele
früher.
Deutsche sind so, das stimmt.
Ackerfeld, ja.
Sind Bauern, ja, for potatoes, ja, Kartoffeln.
Kartoffeln, ja.
That's why I like
Also,
potatoes today.
Ja, ja. Also müssen wir mal Deutsch essen gehen. Have to eat German sometime. Make some German food. So Emma, if you, if there's anything you like to say, Emma. Also Emma, wir würden gerne mit dir sprechen wollen und Kontakt aufnehmen. Ob es in einer Traum ist, weiß ich nicht. We don't know if you give us a dream. Aber
Vielleicht haben wir mal auch einen Traum.
wir sind dann auf jeden Fall, möchten wir dir helfen, Emma. We want to help you. Wirklich, wir wollen dir bereitstehen, zur Hilfe stehen. Weißt du noch was?
Und du brauchst keine Angst vor deinem Ehemann haben oder von Jakob.
Ja, if anything has to do with Hermann oder mit Jakob, if it's something has to do with them, don't be afraid of them.
Das war's eigentlich. Wir können das nächste Mal vielleicht nimmt sie Kontakt mit uns auf. Weißt du nicht?
I was gonna walk over there.
Sure. You want the light?
I don't have to have it, but I was just gonna see if I could feel something or if I can.
If you just want to read it. So this headstone would have probably been put here in 1936 or either 1962.
Wow.
And you can tell that's a fairly modern
Yes.
headstone.
Keine Blumen.
Keine Blumen.
No flowers?
Descendants from them bring ever flowers.
Da ist ein
Doug?
bisschen.
I haven't, no.
Descendants that we know of.
Das nächste Mal müssen wir ein bisschen Blumen mitnehmen. Vielleicht mag sie bestimmte Blumen.
Maybe that my mom would like to maybe bring flowers. What is, okay, so everything written there is in English.
Was
Yeah.
ist denn da drunter? Was steht da?
Rest in peace.
Well, and don't you think,
Also Ruhe in Frieden, weil das ist ein neuerer
as the German immigrants came to the United States, they assimilated, they learned English.
Yes.
And if she lived to 1962, you know
Oh,
she spoke
had to,
English.
Yeah.
Other thing that's
musste
interesting
irgendwie
in
Englisch können.
in the attack dream, Cheryl says that she, when Jacob jumps on her,
Wenn Jacob auf sie springt.
she says, "No, no, no, you must stop."
In English.
In English, she didn't say 999.
Nein, sie sagt auf Englisch.
Ja, da
No, no,
kann,
no,
sie muss
you
natürlich
stop.
Englisch.
Also sie hat der Jakob springt auf sie drauf.
Und sie sagt no, no, nein, nein.
Ja. Und ja, sie sagt aber alles auf Englisch.
Sagt alles auf Englisch.
So if that would have been in 1899, then obviously she's speaking English
Do we know that they were both born in Germany, right?
I don't know.
We don't know that
No,
for
I
sure.
don't know where they
Yeah.
were born.
Okay.
Dann
we'll
kann sie
maybe
vielleicht
find
nicht
out.
Deutsch sein.
I
But
think
Hermann-
I think they were both born
I
in
think so
Germany.
too, because Hermann too is a very common German name, Hermann. And you see how it's spelled with a double...
Two
mit
N's, yes.
Zwei N, Mama, siehst du? Hermann ist ein ganzer deutscher Name.
Ja. Da kann die vielleicht, kannst du uns nicht hören, weil sie kann vielleicht kein Deutsch, Sandra.
Ah, doch, ich nehme schon an.
Nee.
She's saying that maybe she doesn't know German. But I can imagine that she would not know German.
Oh, they had to know
Die
German.
müssen, Mama.
Of course they would have
They-
spoken
weil
German.
Das ist ja alles Deutsch.
She
Manche
was-
vergessen ja die deutsche Sprache.
Später, ja, vielleicht später. Aber wo Lilly, schau mal, wo das mit Lilly, schau mal, hier, die Grabe, schau mal, Mama, das ist ja alles auf Deutsch.
Ja.
Geboren, Alex. And I think that is a shortcut for Alexander. Alex. Because the German is Alexander. See?
Well, I
And
mean,
this is, look at this stuff. Even
Mai.
these is my, all spelled in German.
yeah, they
I
had to
love
speak
this.
German.
I love this because this definitely shows that they were German speaking, Mama, German, also
Aber
deutsche
nicht so
Mutter
viel
vielleicht. Doch, weil das ist ja alles hier Deutsch. Schau mal an. Ist ja alles Deutsch geschrieben. Sogar buchstabiert.
das weiß ich schon.
Und, okay, I'm gonna walk over here now. I would like to, kinda
Yeah,
walk
I
over
would
here and-
I would be surprised if they did not speak German, because when they immigrated they were all Germans and they would have kept their native language,
Yes.
but then as they lived here they would have learned English. But that didn't mean they forgot German, you know, because they were born speaking German.
Yeah, they were definitely.
See, this is all German.
Ja,
Hier ruht in Frieden, just like you have in your books.
Und unten ist ja auch Deutsch geschrieben.
Ja. Wenn kleine Himmelserben in ihrer Unschuld sterben, it's definitely innocently, she died very innocently, so büßt man sie nicht ein.
Es ist ja keine Kummersicht.
Ja, ist klar, Mama, das ist vom 19. Jahrhundert.
So wouldn't you think that these graves were put here right after they died?
Right.
Okay, you can
Very
tell
old.
from the age
Yes,
of that and the concrete.
yes.
This is very, very old.
Very old, and these were the rocks they used
That's
as
very old.
German cemeteries.
But Emma and Herman, that came a lot later.
Yeah.
And they, you know, by that time they had already, everybody had assimilated. They were Americans. They had become
Yes.
English speaking.
Yes, I agree with
But
that.
not in 1899.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
No, not in 1899. Alles war Deutsch.
So I expect Emma can understand the English, but I just feel like the reason I wanted to come and do this in German is because it's a show of respect.
Yes,
You
it
know-
does. Also es zeigt man Respekt, ne, für sowas, Mama.
Ja, schon.
I mean, when somebody comes to you in Germany and even though he doesn't speak German, he attempts to speak German, doesn't that show respect to you?
Wenn jemand kann nicht Deutsch sprechen, aber er versucht mit dir Deutsch zu sprechen in Deutschland, das ist schon eine Form von Respekt.
Ja.
Ja. And I was just trying to see if I can. I mean, this is
Sie hat
very
vielleicht-
much like the German graves
Sie
we
mag,
have.
weißt du, was das Schäfchen, weil sie Schäfchen mit gern gespielt haben. Früher waren ja auf dem Dorf so, sie hatten ja viele Tiere so auf dem Bauern. Und da hat sie vielleicht Schäfchen gern gemacht. Deswegen
We
hat-
don't know why
haben
the
sie-
lamp is there, or is that just a form
Well,
of that something?
the lambs, you see those in a lot of cemeteries, that represents a child,
Das-
a
das
child
Lamm
of God.
Ist ein, Mama, nein, das ist von der Bibel und das ist das Lamm, das ist ein Kind von Gottes. Weil das Lamm, das hat nichts damit zu tun, dass die auf dem Land,
Land.
nein, das ist das von der Bibel,
Von der
Lamb
Bibel,
of
wo
God,
das
also das
Jesus,
ja.
der hatte auch Lamm.
Ja.
Notice anything at
War er
all?
schon am Berg da, ja, gell?
What is this?
Lily Bartels. Initial.
Have we ever heard from Lily?
No,
Cheryl,
no,
Melanie?
no.
So
Well, you know, wait a minute. There's one more dream that we call the blood dream.
oh, that's okay.
Okay.
You emailed me something about that.
And what Cheryl describes is
Okay,
that
das ist ein Bluttraum.
she's laying on a metal table. It's very cold. She's very cold.
Metalltisch und ist alles kalt.
She cannot move.
Sie kann nicht sich
She
bewegen.
looks down and she sees an arm that looks like her own daughter's arm, a very young. She's got two children.
Ja.
And it's got a tube and blood is being taken out of
und da
it.
ist ein Schlauch drin und da wird Blut rausgenommen.
And Cheryl is extremely scared.
Oh, und in dem Traum hat sie ganz viel Angst, Mama.
And she's saying in the dream, why won't anybody help me?
Warum hilft mir niemand? Also sie hat schon Angst.
And she says, I want to cry, but she couldn't, no tears would come out.
Sie wollte weinen, aber da kamen keine Tränen runter.
And her head is to the side, she cannot move.
Sie kann nicht bewegen und ihr Kopf ist zur Seite.
All she can see in the distance is tile on the wall, little square tiles.
Also so die Dinge an der Wand, ne?
And she can see toward the top of the room what we call a transom, which is a window that opens that you can let the air out, which was popular in the 1900s. You know, because they didn't have air conditioning. So Cheryl wakes up from this dream and she says tears are pouring out of her eyes.
Und dann wacht sie
In
auf
in reality.
In Wirklichkeit.
Und warum den Traum? Weil niemand die Wahrheit wissen soll. Deswegen wird sie den extrem bösen Traum, weil niemand möchte, dass die Wahrheit erfährt.
Because
Deswegen.
something is suppressing the truth, like it's nobody wants to
Deswegen
or is
kommt der
supposed to
Böse.
know the truth.
Deswegen kommt der Böse vor.
Well, what Cheryl thinks is that was Lily, that she was inside of Lily, and that Lily was dead,
Das Lily war tot.
and they were embalming her, and I went on the internet and I looked it up. Did they embalm people in 1899? Answer, yes they did.
They did.
And to embalm somebody, the first thing you do is drain the blood out,
Oh my God.
and then you pump in formaldehyde, and that preserves the body for burial. Now, if that was Lily, you and I know what embalming is. So if you died tomorrow and your soul is still there on the table, you're going to say, oh, I'm dead, I'm being embalmed. You wouldn't be frightened. But if you're 4 years old and you can't move and nobody told you what death was, and you look down and you see blood leaving your arm, wouldn't you be scared to death?
Oh my goodness.
So my thought is that maybe that was Lily, the so-called blood dream. Maybe that was Lily, and she was frightened because she had no idea what happened to her. You know, she's just dead. And that dream has only happened once.
Der Traum kam nur einmal vor, Mama. Aber sie meinte, das war Lily, weil er hat so rausgefunden durch die Zeitungsberichtung alles, dass die früher, um den Körper für die Beerdigung zu halten, haben die, wie in dem Traum, Mama, haben die Schläuche rein, Blut raus. Und das war ja, sie hat den kleinen Arm gesehen von der Lily. Also sie war wahrscheinlich in dem Körper von der Lily und sie hat so geschrien. Und sie wusste nicht in dem Alter, dass sie tot war, ne? Haben die das Blut rausgenommen durch den Schlauch und dann tun die das irgendwas so anderes reinspritzen, was den Körper ein bisschen noch für 1, 2 oder was weiß ich, paar Tage für die Beerdigung hält. Und das ist der Traum, der Bluttraum, das nennen wir der Bluttraum, ja. Und sie meint, das ist die Lily, ne? Und dass sie Angst hatte, ja, jedenfalls ist sie so aufgewacht, weil das ganz das ist für ein 5-jähriges Mädchen ja schwer zu verkraften, ne? Weil du bist auf einmal tot, aber deine Seele ist irgendwie noch mit dabei. I was telling her that the soul is still there, but as the body is being, all this is being done to, you were absolutely right. I never thought of it that way.
You don't know. I mean, as adults, we would understand. Well, I mean, most people would know what happens after you die. They take you to a funeral home and they embalm you. But would a
Right.
child know that? A
Can't-
child would have no idea.
No idea. No idea. Such a little
And
one.
you'd have to be totally scared.
Yeah,
Was Böses
that's the dream.
zugestoßen, ja.
Yeah.
So anyway, I forgot to mention that one too. So that happened in May also.
Das ist
All
alles
of
so
these
im Mai,
happen
ne?
in May.
Also 5 dreams.
Well, she had the Jacob dream 4 times.
Oh, 4 times alone.
She had the attack dream twice. She had the running dream once. She had the walking dream once. And she had the blood dream once. So what is that, 5 dreams?
Ja.
And, you know,
Also
Cheryl
ganz schöne Träume, ja.
Cheryl is very interested in finding out the truth, but all of a sudden things just stopped. You know, the dreams just stopped.
Because
So,
maybe she hasn't come here.
well, maybe
We were
she's been really, really busy. And
Is she an what do you call it? Like Melanie?
an empath,
Empath?
I don't know. We've talked about Melanie being an empath, and Cheryl didn't say, well, I am too. But Cheryl is very observant and very astute. Like she can look at a situation and size it up. She's a very sharp person. And so does Emma pick that up and say, here's somebody I can talk to? I don't know. I don't know. And I mean, I think I told you this. I only met Cheryl in April.
Oh, that's right. You've only met her.
And
But you connected right away.
she's lived out here 17 years. I've never crossed her path. You know, I've lived here for 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And I met her in April with political stuff. And we rolled newspapers and threw them in driveways. Okay, you know, to promote the election. And so she rode with me the first day that we did that, and we talked nonstop for 5.5 hours. Just, you know, comparing notes and telling about our past, and both of us walked away saying, it's like I know you. You know, it's like I've known you for a long time, not just a few days, but like we shared things that you don't normally tell people. And she even said that. She said, I found you extremely easy to talk to, and I told you things that I never thought I'd tell anybody. I don't know where that came from. I mean, it was an instant connection, you know, which you hear about.
Yes, exactly.
And, you know, then we were just the second time we threw papers, we were literally heading back this way. She wanted to get home by 11 o'clock because she's got kids. She needed to get them to bed and get them to school the next day. And I said, okay, I'll get you home by 11 o'clock. So we're coming up to this street light, and we had talked about this thing here because my books are based upon not Emma and Lily, but based upon having been at this cemetery.
von dem Buch, Mama. So. Was von wem? Foto? Von wem?
Von uns dreien. From the three of us together.
And see, you will learn about me that I do this all the time. Everywhere I go, I carry my camera.
Also irgendwie, wo immer er hingeht, er nimmt seine Kamera mit.
Except
Ja,
I don't
ist-
bring it into the bank.
Ja, in der Bank nicht. Yes, Doug, I have never seen you with the camera.
Das
in
ist
there.
verboten, ja.
And we're gonna sit down.
Yeah, sit
Okay.
back like we'll be talking.
Das ist ein kleiner Stuhl.
Das ist ein ganz kleiner Mini-Stuhl, Mama. Das sage ich dir. Okay, a photograph in midnight.
Yeah. You have to work tomorrow, right?
I do, Doug. Yes, thanks a lot. I have to work. Well, Saturday, Sunday I'll be off, but so
Yeah,
plus I have to get the kids up early.
Look at the story you can tell now.
But it's a very well. I'm awake now because of that. I usually be sleeping.
Verschlafst nicht, soll ich dich wecken? Morgen
Nee,
früh?
nee. Schade, dass wir aber nichts fühlen, dass uns einer unten anzieht. Das ist halt bei bestimmten Menschen
Okay,
passiert.
I'm going to
das,
shoot
ja.
a couple without me being in it just to get it set. And I'm going to have to put some light on you in order to get it to focus. This is hard in the dark.
Ja. Bye.
Okay, I could get in it. What the heck? It's got time.
Okay.
Let's go.
Now you're blind.
Aha!
Oh, it's...
Da wird man ja blind.
Okay, let me see.
Das ist ja wie Zeit gesagt. Da wird man ja blind, Doug. We're going blind.
Scheinwerfer.
Okay, that was a pretty good picture. Let's do it again. Took my glasses off so they don't reflect.
Da zwinkert
Can you,
man.
can you see anything at all?
As long as it flashes before we close our eyes.
Okay, let me put these so that we had these in the picture. Okay. This is what my world is like.
Yes.
When we were filming over here
Uh-huh.
back in 2008,
Yes. I would love to see that, by the way, one day.
it's on the internet.
On YouTube.
Yes.
And you just go to Douglas Kirk.
It's actually go to.
How do I even find it? Because I'm hardly ever on the YouTube.
I'm so
really
blind now I can't see.
Yeah, thank
Give me
you.
a
Me
bisschen
too.
leuchten.
Here.
Um,
Let me.
Okay, let me pack up my stuff.
Okay.
Mach an.
If you go to the website where it talks about
Mach's an.
the
Ja.
book, then it'll direct you to where the video
direct me
is,
from there.
and the name of my channel is Monkey Doodle Cartel, because everything I do is funny, right?
Yes, you are a funny guy.
Um,
We really enjoy when you come in Tuesdays.
so I've been more serious here tonight than you.
I just wish I would have started talking to you sooner. I've been at the bank for 2 years, Doug.
Have you?
Yes.
Well, you hide in the back.
Well,
You know, if
I
you were to
don't
point that light,
hide. They
if
put
you were
me
to
there.
point this light here, then I would be able
Sorry.
to see. That's okay. Okay, this
Oh
goes.
my gosh. Yeah, I look all yucky.
Oh,
and
do you want to
stuff.
see?
I went away. Well, we can look at them next time. I'm just always wondering, like, oh, it's a good one. It's good, oder? I'm just, mit der Brille. Ah, ja. Das nächste Mal.
Yeah.
Doug, because sometimes, I always think of sometimes, you can take a picture, but once you get it actually digital, but then when you get it developed in a photograph, you see something in there.
Oh yeah.
So,
That happens a lot.
yeah. Well, I've only noticed it one time with a family member
Uh-huh.
that has done it. She looked at a house and nothing on her phone, on her camera, nothing. After she got them actually developed, she
Okay,
saw.
let's turn this way. Gisela, if you just want to relax,
Du sollst dich relaxieren, Mama.
as I tell everybody, it just takes me a while to pack up.
Yeah, it's understandable.
This is how the book was conceived,
This
packing up
is-
the tools,
Yes.
Okay, so
I can't wait to start book 4.
did you finish 3?
Almost. I'm almost done.
And what's
Because-
happening at the moment?
Well, we are at the chapter where with the future there with
Dakota,
Dakota, and isn't it Melanie?
Megan.
Megan, I'm sorry.
Megan.
Hast du es nicht gelesen?
Doch, Mama. Ich habe das 3. fast fertig. Sherry hat das 2. fast fertig. Und wenn sie das 2. fertig hat, Sherry is almost done with her second one. She'll get the 3rd one. I'm telling you.
Verkaufen sich die Bücher gut?
Also Doug sagt nicht so gut.
Nicht so gut.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't have never said that, because now everybody's going to think it's not so good. But
No, that they're selling.
oh, the selling. I
Yeah.
thought you were saying book
That-
5 was not so good.
Oh no,
Because I said that, and I never should have said that.
You said that?
Yeah, I said, well, it's not as good
I
as
didn't
the
even.
other.
Doug, that's not what I
Er soll es
just
auf
said.
Deutsch, vielleicht verkauft er in Deutsch
My
besser.
mom was asking me, are the books selling good?
And you said not
and
so
I said,
good.
not so good according to you.
That's true,
And
yeah.
then when I said, well, we're going to help you when I help you.
Yeah, that's true. They're not selling the way I'd like them
You
to
like
sell.
them. And I'm surprised.
It's because I don't know how to sell.
You don't know how to sell it? Well, you just...
I don't know how to sell books. Books are difficult to sell. Take this and we'll just gonna stuff it in there.
Ja, muss auf Deutsch schreiben, dann
Yeah,
Haufen wir Deutsche
funny in
weg.
German, and then you have a big hit,
Yeah,
big sell or something.
that's fine by me. I'll go to Germany and try to learn what I can.
Sandra, du kannst Dolmetscher.
Yeah. Translator. Dolmetscher, we say Dolmetscher.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I would have loved to tell something while we were out here, Doug. I mean, do you ever feel like we could come during the day, or is it just best to come during the night anyways, right?
Everybody I've talked to said that the entities come out at night.
At night, okay. Also die
The
kommen nur
daytime has so much activity
that they don't come.
that they just don't come. Now, I don't know if that's true. That's just what people tell me.
Okay, also Leute sagen, meinst du, dass es stimmt, dass die auf Nacht
In
kommen
Nacht ist besser.
und nicht tagsüber, weil das
Nee.
so viel kommt? Okay, my mom thinks so.
In der Nacht ist es immer besser.
Yeah, and you know what? That's how it was with my Oma.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it only happened at night. During the day.
Ja, die kommen
Warte,
auch in
Mama,
der
ich
Nacht.
nehm was.
Nein, Mama, die
ich
kamen auch in der Nacht.
Yeah, she only came at night.
Okay, on these, be sure we don't drop that little blue thing that's in the middle.
Right. Ja,
It keeps dropping out. You know, I could make 2 trips. That would be the easy way.
Okay, I got the blue thing in here, and then give me one more thing. So, warte, Moment.
Can you carry this?
Yes.
And then,
Yeah, don't drop your nice equipment.
the secret is to shine the light and make sure we got everything.
Okay, Mama, schau nochmal, ob wir alles haben. Zeig mal hierher. Ja.
Wiedersehen, Emma.
Auf Wiedersehen, Emma.
Tschüss.
Das nächste Mal sprechen wir.
Emma. Tschüss, wir gehen jetzt. Tschüss, die kleine Lilly. Oh, jetzt rein. Tschüss.
Ja, die wurde bestimmt brutal umgebracht.
Bis zum nächsten Mal.
You know, after looking at that flash, it seems so much darker.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That's true. Warte, Mama, gib mal. Soll ich die Taschenlampe nehmen?
Ich mach das auch.
Ich mach schon.
Geh mir weg.
Okay. I left one.
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it.
Okay.
I just want to make sure we're not losing anything.
We'll find out next.
I'm talking like you, Doug.
We'll find out next time, huh?
Now I'm thinking like you now.
This gate is always hard,
You have to do the chain, yeah.
and I always do it a special way. I tie it right up here, and I do that to see if anybody else comes over here.
Oh, good idea. That's very clever.
And see, today, it was different.
It was.
I was over here on September 5th, which
Right.
was what, Saturday?
Yes.
What is today, Wednesday?
Yes.
So somebody's been here since the 5th.
Oh my goodness.
Who?
You don't think many people come, my mom is asking?
I've never seen anybody here.
Oh, der sieht nie jemanden. You mean all these years you're telling me? You have never seen somebody?
I have never,
No.
I have
Das sind
never
alles-
seen
das sind
anyone
alles
at this
Deutsche.
cemetery. But now here's
Wow.
another story. You know, you remind me of this stuff. On May 8th, so Cheryl and I were here May 6th. On May 8th, her daughter forgot something that she had to take to school. Her daughter
Cheryl,
goes to
ihre Tochter.
Smithson Valley Middle School.
Oh, that's where my two children go.
They
the two
probably
oldest.
know each other.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So,
you gotta tell me more about it another
Anyway,
time.
Cheryl had to take it over to school for her
Yes.
daughter, and so she said, well, I'll just go
May
by the cemetery and look at it in the daytime. This is after having the
Oh,
first
how cool.
two
yes,
dreams.
Yes.
So she came over here and parked, and she saw a lady standing in the cemetery. The lady never looked up all the time that Cheryl was here, and Cheryl said, well, should I go in? It might disturb her, you know. And she was over in the corner looking at one of the graves. So she decided, well, I'm not going to go in. And so she left, and she
she
called
didn't
me
go in,
and
yeah.
told me about this, and I said, well, what did the lady's car look like? Cheryl said there wasn't a car.
Oh.
Where did she come from?
Da war eine Frau.
Das war die Cheryl, die hat auch eine Tochter in der Mittelschule, wo
Ja,
Ashley Billy
ja,
gehen.
ja.
Und die ist dann hier vorbeigefahren, weil sie was
Eine
bringen
Frau
wollte.
gesehen.
Hat sie eine Frau gesehen, aber da war kein Auto. Und das
Vielleicht ein
erzählt.
Geist.
Was it not really a woman there, maybe?
She said it was a older woman.
Eine alte Frau.
She had gray hair,
Graue Haare, ne?
and she said she was wearing old lady pants.
Alte Frauenhose.
So you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah,
just
yeah.
kind
I
of
know
baggy.
exactly what you mean. Up to here.
And the lady never looked up.
Und die Frau hat nicht einmal hoch... Oh, so she couldn't make out her face.
No, she
she
saw the top
see-
of her head, and her hair, she said her hair came down
vielleicht
to her,
Geist.
like her chin. It was a
Also
bob.
ungefähr bis hierher, also
Geist.
so ein Bobschnitt.
Vielleicht.
Aber sie
Ich-
hat nicht einmal hochgeschaut.
Ja, ja. Ich würde mal sagen, die Bilder machen Ansehen von anderen Gräbern. Vielleicht ist da auf dem Apparat ein Geist zu sehen.
But I've been up and down this road for 30 years.
30 years da.
I've lived at Canyon Lake 30 years, and this is how I go to San Antonio.
30 Jahre hier, Mama, der fährt die Straße.
Ja?
And I've never seen anybody here, other than me and somebody I brought over here.
Wow.
Never, ever.
Because the descendants, that's why I was wondering, I mean, why there are no flowers, why there's not really
Yeah.
anything. It's so, like, so German, but so lost,
Forgotten.
forgotten.
Yeah.
And that's why Mama and I'm going to come during the day. I'll let you know. Okay, Mama, wir
Und
kommen
bestimmt,
montags.
ja, und bestimmte
If we-
Zeit,
I will tell you.
kommt vielleicht ein Geist
Yeah.
irgendwie hier.
And so, and maybe during certain times that we can feel
Well,
entities not, you know, or that
I
it's
would-
a certain sign that they only...
I would like to come back on October 24th because October 17th, October 24th, and then November, I've forgotten the date, it's like the 3rd or something, are the 3 times that Melanie saw somebody or
I
felt
see.
somebody here.
Oh, those were the dates, yeah. You
So,
were
I
saying
thought-
that's right.
You know, we tried September
right.
5th, let's try October
Let's try that.
and just see if something happens.
Yes.
So anyway,
That's good. Good timing.
thank you very much. I'm still running the tape recorders. And so if you would say goodbye to the tapes and just say who you are.
Okay. Also ich sag's zuerst und dann du, Mama, ja?
Was denn?
Wir sagen jetzt auf Wiedersehen,
Ja.
tschüss. Und ich bin die Sandra Johnson.
And I'm Douglas Kirk, and today's date is September probably 10th now.
10th, yes, we are on the
now.
10th.
It's
Yes,
after
sir.
midnight, and so well, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and here we've tried to speak to Emma auf Deutsch. Let's see what happens.
Jetzt schauen wir mal. Und Mama, sag noch tschüss und deinen Namen.
Tschüss, Emma. Mein Name ist Gisela Streibing. Ich hoffe, dass wir uns nächstes Mal in Kontakt aufnehmen. Tschüss.
Tschüss.
What
Wiedersehen.
does that
Auf
mean?
Wiedersehen.
Tschüss is maybe
Tschüss kann man
like,
sagen.
it's just a bye version.
Bye, auf Wiedersehen.
Tschüss,
Okay.
ciao, servus.
Okay, and that's German?
That's all German.
Ja.
I don't remember ever hearing that.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Well, now
Tschüss,
when I was in
servus,
Holland, the Dutch would always say dag.
Dag.
Yeah, for goodbye. For hello and goodbye is
Oh.
dag.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know that one, to be honest.
Tschüss sagen sie meist in Köln oben.
Yeah. Tschüss, Cologne, Northern, Midwestern Germany, it's all Tschüss. In Bavaria, it's Servus, für die, ciao.
But choose is
München.
like Choose. Choose.
It's
Yeah.
T. You put a T in front of it.
Say it again.
T,
I spell
S,
it, I'll text it to you. T-S-C-H-U, the U with the two dots
You with the
above.
umlaut?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the sharp S.
S.
Choose.
Tschüss.
Well, it sounds like choose. Choose your ride. What are you going to do?
Choose. Say tschüss. Because it's the other U.
Wir machen
the
auf
U.
U immer still.
And
Yeah.
where are you from in Deutschland?
Ich bin geboren in der Nähe von Bayreuth, Begnitz, und aufgewachsen bin ich in Goda, in Thüringen.
I don't know where that is.
Well, you'll find out eventually, Doug.
Yeah.
Willenreuth is in Bavaria.
Das ist,
She's-
da gab es Osten, Westen.
I mean, when I lived in Holland, we traveled in Germany several times, but we went to all the tourist places, like Cologne and
The Rhine River.
the
and
Rhine River. We
castles.
took the boat down the Rhine River. That was really
Mosel.
neat. We went to Rothenburg,
Mm-hmm.
Berchtesgaden.
Berchtesgaden, ja, schön.
Am I saying that wrong?
Yes, no, you're saying it right.
Yeah, okay. So we took several trips, and I was in the Boy Scouts, so we used to camp at a place called Camp Freedom, but I don't know what city it was, but it was in Germany.
Es war in Deutschland.
And it was an international camp. Boy Scouts from all over would go there, and we'd take the train from Holland to the camp. We just put our backpacks on, and they'd
Yep.
tell us, "There you go," and we'd go there.
Windhoek. Yeah, with the train you can reach anything there in Europe.
Yeah, not here.
No. we
Okay,
actually
so-
miss it.
We'll see you soon. Thank you very much.
Ja,
Yes.
bitteschön.
Ja, no, kein Problem,
Ich
Doug.
weiß, ich gehe dann noch mal auf den Friedhof.
Ja, wir machen unseren Termin vielleicht aus. We'll make a date, Doug, where we can maybe come another time.
Okay,
She
I'm
was
hoping to
saying-
get Cheryl here,
Yes, if Cheryl.
because if Cheryl is the one that receives the information,
That would be so awesome.
then we need to have her here.
We were hoping that we could receive something.
We'll
you
see tonight when you go to sleep.
Well, but she noticed something when we all were there, didn't she? Cheryl. See, no, it wasn't until I know she had a dream, but didn't she notice something while she
Well,
was
the first
with you in
time
the
she was here,
cemetery?
well, the only time
they-
I've been here with her was May 6th,
See, that was the only time
and she felt it that day.
she felt it that day.
And then that night she had the first dream, and then a bunch of dreams. So I feel like
Yeah,
there's
that's interesting.
some kind of energy that they need to communicate with us. Obviously, they're not communicating with me, but
Yeah, because you've been trying for so long.
I've been over here a lot of times,
Oh,
and
my
I just,
goodness, yeah.
nothing. So,
Yeah, we would love to come back, Doug.
all right, well,
This
we'll
is
do it
very
soon.
interesting.
And I'll tell Cheryl that we did this, and
Ja, will versuchen, dass Cheryl das nächste Mal mitkommt, Mama. Es wäre gut.
and all of us just be on the lookout for signs, for
Yes.
information, for
Yes.
anything.
Yes.
There's no telling what we might have done tonight.
True. But if anything happens, you'll be the first to know.
Excellent. Thank you.
Dankeschön. Wir müssen
Okay,
mal am
Doc.
Tag ein Bild machen.
Ja, machen wir mal am Tag, gehen wir mal hierher. We might come during the day, my mom and I.
Yes.
Da kann man ein besseres Bild machen.
Ja, eben. Yeah.
That way you can see what it looks
Where
like.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love to come.
And you were asking the question, is it safe? I think it is.
Yeah, now I know.
There's nothing
I
out
mean,
here.
I've never been.
This is just a little country
been to-
cemetery.
To except the one on the ranch, and then just to see something like this is really, yeah, you're right. It's just there's nothing out here.
I mean, if somebody
there's no
if somebody
houses.
if somebody decided to bother us, I think we'd know.
If we would see the lights,
And I was telling you
see
when
somebody pull over.
when Melanie and I were over here in October 2008 videotaping, I had lights, and so people would drive by, see the lights, and call the police.
Oh
And the-
my goodness.
And the police came over here 3 times.
That day.
No,
Or like in a like
in
that.
the 3 times that we were over here, I think they came twice one day and once another day. And finally they said, you know, why don't you just call us before you go to the cemetery so we don't have to
Really?
make the call?
That's funny. So they become your friends then.
Yeah, yeah.
They know you now, Doug.
Yes.
Okay, Doug, thanks.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. Thanks for showing us.
You're welcome.